and students that are gathered here today. I, Mehak, along with Suhani and Vanshika, heartily welcome you all on behalf of Amity School of Economics to the 8th Hybrid National Conference on Viksit Bharat 2047, Harnessing the Power of Sustainability and Inclusive Growth, sponsored by Radiant Institute of Nursing, Copain Stellar Friendship, Sunena Biofuels, and Nanda Chaudhary. Let us now introduce you to our sponsors. Sunena Biofuels and Bioenergy is a leading company revolutionizing the bio-CNG sector, supplying bio-CNG gas to major oil marketing companies like Indian Oil and producing organic fertilizers to support sustainable farming. With a strong focus on innovation and environmental sustainability, the company is committed to driving the future of renewable energy. Radiant Institute of Nursing provides quality, job-oriented nursing education to equip students with practical skills for the healthcare industry. Focused on affordable and employment-driven training, the institute prepares candidates for careers in hospitals and nursing homes. Copains is a fast-growing people-first IT solutions provider, helping businesses eliminate technological complexities and enhance efficiency. They are delivering cutting-edge solutions across India and the USA. We are honored to have Nanda Chaudhary as our esteemed sponsor. Mr. Gulzari Lal Nanda, a senior BJP leader and Vice President of Delhi BJP. He brings decades of leadership and experience to the table with a 35-year-old legacy in the construction sector. He has contributed significantly to infrastructure development, including the construction of flyovers and PWD projects shaping the urban landscape of Delhi NCR.
As we gather here today, we begin this event by seeking blessings from Goddess Saraswati, the epitome of knowledge, wisdom, and creativity. Saraswati Vandana holds profound significance in Indian culture and spirituality, serving as a revered hymn dedicated to the goddess. By reciting this Vandana at the beginning of the conference, we seek the blessings of the goddess of knowledge and wisdom for a successful and fruitful event. Before we begin this event, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar, Head of Amity School of Economics, the convener, Dr. Neeru Sadana, all the dignitaries and faculties to invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati by lighting the ceremonial lamp.
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदा जाड्यान्धकारापहा हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिका.
Thank you so much, everyone. Sustainability and inclusive growth are the twin pillars driving the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, shaping a future where progress is both resilient and equitable. A truly developed India is one that not only fosters economic prosperity but also ensures social inclusion and environmental responsibility, creating a nation that thrives in harmony with its people and nature. As India advances towards 2047, the centenary of its independence, the integration of sustainable practices with inclusive development will be instrumental in transforming aspirations into reality. The 2 day conference aims to provide a dynamic platform for professionals, academicians, researchers, and scholars to share insights, collaborate, and drive impactful discussions on sustainability and inclusive growth in the context of Viksit Bharat 2047. Together, thought leaders and change makers, this event will explore the challenges and opportunities in achieving a sustainable and inclusive future for India. Through engaging discussions, knowledge exchange, and networking opportunities, participants will delve into key themes such as economic resilience, environmental sustainability, social equity, and policy innovations. This platform will serve as a catalyst for ideas, strategies, and actionable solutions to shape India's journey toward a self reliant, sustainable, and an inclusive economy.
Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar, with an experience of teaching in higher education institutes in India for over 27 years, has held several academic leadership positions and is presently a professor and is heading the School of Economics at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida campus. A PhD in economics and an MBA in finance, Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar finds her research interests at the crossroads of behavioral aspects of people as consumers and how do they make decisions with respect to sustainable behavior, decide to plan for their retirement, or how economic dilemma plays a role in various policy engagement programs. Many of her research papers are published in journals of repute that are indexed with Scopus and WOS. She has edited a few books on sustainable development, research methodology, and money and banking. Some of her edited books are under process with reputed international publishers like Apple Academic Press, CRC Press, and Springer. Now, we would like to request Kavita ma'am to kindly give the welcome address to the smart gathering.
A very good morning to one and all present here. Most respected Honorable Founder President Sir, Honorable Chancellor Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, esteemed Additional Pro Vice Chancellor Sir, distinguished guests on and off the dais, my dear faculty members, staff members, and most importantly, my dear students. A very warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you at the inaugural ceremony of the 8th National Conference at the Amity School of Economics, that is on the theme Viksit Bharat at 2047, harnessing sustainability and inclusive growth. At the very core of Amity's foundation and vision is the guiding presence of our Honorable Founder President Sir, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan ji, whose unwavering commitment to education, nation building, and global excellence continues to inspire us all. His belief in nation building through education resonates deeply with today's theme, sir. Sir, we seek your kind blessings. We extend our sincere gratitude to Honorable Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan, sir, whose faith in us serves as a powerful motivation. Under your able leadership, sir, Amity stands strong as an institution deeply rooted in sanskars, knowledge, and innovation. Your vision has enabled us to cultivate an ecosystem where learning transcends boundaries. My heartfelt gratitude reaches out to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, whose unwavering support, encouragement, and insightful guidance has been instrumental in shaping our academic pursuits. Your motivation, ma'am, has been a beacon of inspiration, and it is under your leadership that we have chosen this very pertinent theme for today's conference. I take this opportunity to express my very sincere thanks to our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Bansal, sir, whose presence today has inspired us all and has filled us with enthusiasm. I welcome you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome all the revered dignitaries and express sincere appreciation for taking out time from their busy schedules to grace the occasion. Your words of wisdom will set the perfect tone for the next 2 days where researchers will deliberate on the issue on Viksit Bharat. I extend a warm welcome to the chief guest of today, respected Mr. Anthony Syriac, Additional Economic Advisor, Ministry of Finance. For taking out time, I thank you, sir. I welcome you, sir. I extend a very warm welcome to our guest of honor, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, who is an economist and delves into economic policies of the country at present. Sir, your gracious presence and words of wisdom shall enlighten us all. I welcome you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Pathak, who is the Vice President, Product Management, AI and Metadata Informatica, who is joining us online from California. Thank you, sir, for making it possible to grace the occasion. Most importantly, I also extend a very warm welcome to our very own guest of honor, Ms. Bhavna Bhatia ji, who is an economist of World Bank. She has a flight today to Lucknow in the afternoon, but she has kindly agreed to grace the occasion in the morning. Thank you so much, ma'am, and I welcome you. The journey of conceptualizing and organizing this conference has been one of the thoughtful deliberations. We brainstormed extensively with our team of dedicated faculty members and students to create a platform where meaningful discussions on sustainability and inclusive growth could take center stage. Sustainability is not just a choice, it is now a necessity. And the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals lay the foundation for a future where economic progress aligns with environmental stewardship and social equity. As India aspires to become a developed nation at 2047, it is imperative that sustainability and inclusivity become the key foundations of our economic and policy frameworks. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt welcome to all the distinguished dignitaries, speakers, panelists, and participants who have joined us during these 2 days, online or offline. Your presence enriches this platform, and we look forward to insightful discussions that will contribute meaningfully to shaping India's sustainable and inclusive future. I express my deepest gratefulness to the Almighty for bringing us all together today in this moment of shared purpose and intellectual exchange. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As we work towards Viksit Bharat 2047, sustainability must be at the heart of our progress. This token of appreciation is a reminder that it takes collective effort, patience, and responsibility to create a future that thrives for all. I would like to request Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar and the convener, Dr. Neeru Sidana, to kindly come forward and extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries. To welcome our chief guest, Mr. Anthony Sairat, I invite Dr. Namita Kapoor to join them in presenting a token of appreciation. Can we have a round of applause, please? To welcome our guest of honor, Ms. Bhavna Bhatia, I request Dr. Pooja Mehra to accompany them in extending our warm greetings. To welcome our guest of honor, Ms. To welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, I invite Dr. Shilpi Verma to join them in presenting a gesture of honor. To welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Praveen Vivedi, I request Dr. Rochna Arora to kindly come to assist them. To welcome our Honorable Additional Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Bansal, I invite Dr. Rochna Arora, Dr. Dharmendra Singh, and Dr. Ankita Gupta to join in honoring his presence. Mr. Gaurav Pathak is joining us online from California. Sir, we really wish you were here with us today, but we appreciate you for taking out some time for this conference. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sanjeev Bansal is Additional Pro Vice Chancellor, Dean of Faculty of Management Studies, and Director of Amity Business School, Uttar Pradesh. So, we're really glad you could be here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Whenever somebody tries to read out my profile, I just feel embarrassed because I feel there is so much to do before I sleep. Welcome, everyone. Our chief guest, Mr. Anthony Zirek, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal ji, Ms. Bhavana Bhatia ji, Mr. Gaurav Pathak, our very own Dr. Kavita, Ms. Niti, Dr. Namita, and all the esteemed members of Amity School of Economics, and above all, the wonderful students of Amity School of Economics. On behalf of our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chuphan, the man behind this entire Amity universe, where the journey we started with a school in 1986 with foundation of Amity, first school in Saket, the first business school which I incidentally had, Amity Business School, in 1995, first university in 2005, and now the esteemed guest, if you permit me, I can just tell you that we have our presence in 18 plus countries. And if I say all the 7 continents, don't doubt my geography. I mean it. We are having our presence in all the 7 continents, including Antarctica. In India, we have covered almost 20 plus states because the vision of our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, is that we should be having our presence in all the states and UTs of India. And if God is kind, we would be having our presence in all the countries of the world. Because he wants to see India as a super education power by 2030. The keyword nowadays is Viksit Bharat. At times, I feel slightly apprehensive and bad about it also, that why we are not Viksit yet, why we are not still developed, why we are saying we will be a developed country by 2047. But definitely we would be. And if I say we would be taking 100 years to reach there, it's a matter of concern. From economy at position of 14 to 11th and 5, now thinking about the economy at third position is going to be a big dream, and I am very sure we are going to do it. The conferences like this are the stepping stones. These are the stepping stones for making possible to achieve it. Every conference, every event in Amity, we do with a defined target, defined objective, and that's called outcome-based education. We fulfill our objective of outcome-based education with every event is defined with some measurable objectives. The very objective of this conference is to generate widespread awareness about the importance of sustainability and inclusive growth, potential benefits and challenges of the Viksit Bharat at the rate of 2047, to encourage and motivate researchers from various domains to understand the intricacies of Viksit Bharat vision, to bring together practitioners, researchers, participants, and innovators to discuss cutting edge technology and sustainable solution in tune with the Viksit Bharat, and so on. I am very sure with the presence of all these esteemed guests today who have taken their time to come here. I was just listening to Ms. Kavita that despite of her flight today afternoon, Ms. Bhavna is here. So is with Mr. Antonio. So is with Mr. Gopal Krishnan ji. So is with Mr. Gaurav Pathak. And I'm very sure these personalities, these eminent speakers are going to definitely add values in your life also. The dream of Viksit Bharat at 2047 is not going to be achieved in a day. We have given a target to ourselves. And as a student of management, I always believe that management always says leadership by compulsion is something which we always follow. And when we speak about leadership by compulsion, that means we have to set up the targets and we have to, come what may, we have to achieve it. The very objective of Viksit Bharat at 2047 is we have actually defined that by 2047, come what may, we have to do it. For the inclusive factors, for the internal factors, we can always have control, we can always take care of, but there are so many external factors in this. We cannot choose president of US at our choice. We cannot see to tariffs imposed. Cannot see to so many other problems. We can be a mediator, but we cannot stop any war. We cannot put ourselves in between the wars. But despite of all these odds, we will definitely come a winner. So India is the only country in the world which I always believe and I always maintain who can do it. And why to dream about third economy? I feel if we are having manpower, if we are having student power, if we are having leaders like you, why not dream about power number one? And that is what I always dream of. So by 2047, when we speak about Viksit Bharat at 2047, do not think about the third best economy. I think we should be always targeting economy number one as India. Once again, on behalf of our founder, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, Dr. Atul Chauhan, our Chancellor and President of this foundation, Dr. Balwinder Shukla, Vice Chancellor of this university, on my personal behalf, on behalf of all the faculty and staff members of MIT School of Economics, and all these wonderful students, researchers, participants. I welcome all the delegates, and I am very sure this conference is definitely going to be a big stepping stone in the life of many who are actually dreaming to be a part of this mission of Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. Now introducing Ms. Bhavna Bhatia. Our guest of honor, Ms. Bhavna Bhatia is working as a Knowledge Partnership Program Manager in India, Country Office of the World Bank. She is leading the efforts to enhance the World Bank's role as a knowledge bank to systematically create, share, and use knowledge for development impact. Prior to this, she was the lead country economist and program leader for the Equitable Growth, Finance, and Institutions Practice Group of the World Bank. This included areas of macroeconomics, investments, competitiveness, and governance. She has over 25 years of experience in the areas of public policy, governance, and sustainable development. As the South Asia Regional Program Coordinator for the World Bank Institute, she has worked extensively on strengthening public institutions and building state capabilities. Prior to joining the World Bank, she worked with leading financial institutions and a think tank on energy and environment research and programs. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am.
Before we invite Ms. Bhatia, we would like to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Praveen Dwivedi. I request Dr. Kavita Indapurkar and Dr. Neeru Sudhana to kindly welcome him.
We are honored to have you with us, Ms. Bhavna. Please grace us with your kind words.
Thank you, and very good morning to all the students, faculty members, or my panel members on the dais today morning. Always a pleasure to be with the young energy, young minds, new ideas. It's always good to be among the students and researchers. Professor Indapurkar, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It always feels so nice to be here. Also to MIT, as Professor Bansal mentioned, these kind of conferences, workshops in the university level are truly a way for catalyzing new ideas, to get new thoughts, because they are the ones which are so critical for us as we move along our path of Viksit. So really, congratulations. It's your eighth conference, national conference. And I'm really glad to see that you have picked up such a pertinent subject this time, which is on Viksit Bharat. And I think it's equally important to say that you have, in your deliberation, kept two most important aspects of it, which is the sustainability and inclusivity. These are large words which we have to unpack, which we have to understand. And I think what was said in the morning is it's not just a vision which is being led by the Prime Minister or the government. It is a vision which all of us have to own. Unless all of us really own that vision, I think the path to achieving will get more difficult. So I do see you as young economists, as young potential entrepreneurs, businessmen, to really start internalize what our great country is aiming to transition to. I think when we look at the Viksit Bharat at 47, to me, I think there are the four things which are very, very important. One, how do we think about inclusivity as the first thing? We are a large country, a lot of disparities. I think we have to take everybody along. That's when truly will be Viksit Bharat. Second, given the climate change and the vulnerabilities that we are seeing, sustainable development is going to be absolutely at the center of this development. And I think this is a road which you all will have to tread more carefully than many of us would have done in the past. The sustainability going forward is going to be the center. The third important aspect is going to be governance. How do we effectively govern ourselves? How do we effectively leverage the power of youth? To me, these two are the hows. How are we going to do sustainability or inclusivity will to a large extent depend upon the other how factors, which is going to be on effective governance and making sure that we leverage our demographic power. I think for us, many people say it's a vision, laudable objective. I think to me, it is definitely something which we all have to keep it as our target. We have to feel proud on the achievements that we have made. In 2008, India moved from a low income country to really become a low middle income country, right? And it took us so many years from the independence to achieve that in 2008. We have to now accelerate the path we have set for ourselves from where we are to where we want to achieve in next 2 decades. I think we have to keep the time factor in mind and we have to keep the objective in mind. We are the fifth largest economy. We're striving to become the third and then moving on the path of the high income country. We have also been very successful in terms of seeing that on the inclusivity side, we have been able to reduce the poverty, which was our biggest set of challenge we were grappling with, right? We have been, particularly in the last 2 decades, from 2011 to 2021, we have been able to really reduce the poverty rates from 23% to, and I'm talking about extreme poverty, to 12%. Why am I saying these? I'm saying these that sometimes these objectives look big, but I think we have to be determined. And if in 10 years we could achieve something, in the next 20 years, we definitely have to work towards achieving the objectives. So I don't see this as impossible. Sometimes it looks like a very ambitious agenda. I see this as something which is perhaps doable. I see it as doable because I do see we have a vibrant public sector, we have a vibrant private sector, we have strong macroeconomic foundation, and we have a financial sector which is going to be the key driver of us achieving it, which has its strong foundation. I think the fact that we were among the few economies to come out of COVID itself is a credit and kudos to all of us who are part of it. Many economies are still grappling with it. We have this foundation. I think what we need to do is to see how do we leverage it? How do we stay focused? What we have to do in next 2 decades is going to be a tall order, but it's not impossible, as I keep saying. It's going to be a tall order because in the past 2 decades, we have grown at an average of about 6.4, 6.5%. If we have to achieve the high income status, we will have to grow annually for the next 2 decades as an average growth rate of about 7.8 to 8%. So we have to work hard to be able to fire from all the engines of growth. We cannot have the choice to say, do we do agriculture? Do we do industry? Do we really keep pushing on services? It has to be, all the engines of growth have to be fired. And our global experience also shows that if we have to stay concerted, we will have to take things which are not going to be business as usual. Our problems in the past were different, so business as usual will not work. Our solutions will have to be new, our solutions have to be innovative, our ideas will have to be new. And I think this is where, as we move forwards, we will have to emphasize on opportunities and innovations. If you see opportunities, do not hesitate to find new ways of unleashing those opportunities. You have to build new skills and capabilities. You all in the university, you are the one thinking about 20 years from now when India will be Viksit Bharat. It's you who will be delivering India become Viksit Bharat. So therefore, what you're studying here, don't just take the basic principles of economics as a Bible. Think, challenge, push, ask. That's the way you will be able to leverage the opportunities you have. I won't take long because this is really an opportunity for the next 2 days for you to be able to build on these ideas. I know you have some very interesting sessions and papers, and I truly wish that all the deliberations that come out of it, you will be able to share with us, because many of us who are working in this space actually benefit more from the ideas. I think it's not just about what either the government and the bank and all of us are thinking. It's really your ideas and creativity. Before I close, I just want to leave 3 ideas, and I hope this will be something which your students and the papers that will be presented will deliberate on. In my view, I think the 3 things when you're looking at Viksit Bharat at 2047 are important for you to keep in mind. One, I think we have to go through a much faster pace of structural transformation. I think that structural transformation, where a large number of our people are still dependent on the agriculture-based economy, we have to come out of it. We have to move up onto the value add in the agriculture sector. Second, manufacturing. While our services have been growing fast, I think our manufacturing, which Make in India, we all are familiar with it, our manufacturing really has to move fast to be able to become the world-class manufacturing hub, to be able to not just serve the Indian market, but to serve the world. I think we definitely have to focus on that. And the third important thing is, as we integrate more on the global value chains, we are right now the world is in a chaos when it gets to trade and when it gets, but I think this mess will itself find its own opportunities and potential. We have to think about how do we integrate India into the global economy and into the global value chains. Very, very important for us to look at that. There have been initial successes. I think the issue is the scale. I think in India, just given our size, a small success, a small pilot doesn't take us where we want to do. So you have to think about scale. How do we achieve things at scale? So again, I'm coming to that how to. There's no dearth of innovations of ideas. A challenge is the scale. That's where you have to all focus on. Second thing, ma'am, I want to talk about is we have limited natural resources. We have good endowments. How do we leverage those natural resources? I think we're doing quite well when it comes to, looking at our energy transition with solar. We are the very few countries who are thinking about green hydrogen policy. We're really thinking about industrial decarbonization. But I think 2 areas which are our binding constraints. One is water. I think we have to think about how do we use our water resources more efficiently. It will be a critical issue. And the second important issue is going to be our air. We are all grappling with air pollution. These are things which are not connected to Viksit Bharat. They are significantly connected. And the third point I want to talk about is leveraging your demographic dividend. When we think about it's going to be the jobs, it's going to be the entrepreneurship, it's going to be the MSMEs. We're almost contributing, 30% to GDP and 40% to exports from our MSMEs. But yet, 90% of these MSMEs are the micro enterprises, which are not growing. So when we talk about scale, we have to make the micro become small, small become medium, and medium become large. So please focus on entrepreneurship, MSMEs, the innovation sector. And I really want to close with saying something which is extremely close to my heart: the power of women entrepreneurship. How do we empower women? How do we get them more into labor force participation? We've seen some progress, but still, you know what? We're just 34% of the women who are actually contributing to the economy by being into the part of the labor force. And that's very different from emerging economies where it's 56 to 60%. So if we're talking about Viksit Bharat, it has to be Viksit women, right? So all of you who are here, and I am so glad to see a large number of women here who are studying economics and business, it's very, very important for us to focus on increasing the female labor force participation. And if you become from 34 to 50%, you actually add almost about 1% to the country's GDP, which all of us have to really strive for. So I think these are some of the ideas from inclusivity, from sustainability point of view. I'm sure they will be discussed. And I'm going to really look forward to receive some of these suggestions. And very, very good luck to you all. Great deliberations. And I guess this is going to be, as I keep saying, the next 2 decades is going to be the youth power. So push all the boundaries, be innovative, do rigorous analysis, look at the evidence, not just follow the economic principles which are written in the books, right? Just test them out and enjoy what you're studying here, and enjoy as you get into transition from your academic to your real world of contributing to this great country. So all the best to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with your words of wisdom and insights. Now is the time to invite our chief guest, Mr. Anthony Syrak. Anthony Syrak is a distinguished economic advisor in the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. With an extensive career spanning over 2 decades in the Indian Economic Service, he has played a crucial role in the monitoring macroeconomic variables, fiscal policy, public finance, and international economic relations. Having served in key government bodies including the Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, and the 15th Finance Commission, he brings a wealth of expertise in economic evaluation, policy research, and financial governance. A gold medalist in economics from Kerala University, who has also contributed to India's global economic engagements during his deputation to the HM Treasury in the United Kingdom. Beyond his professional role, he is actively involved in palliative care initiatives in Delhi, showcasing his commitment to social welfare. Please grace us with your words of wisdom, sir.
Distinguished professors, distinguished guests, and my dear students. First of all, let me thank the university and the School of Economics for inviting me to this important seminar on this all-important topic, Viksit Bharat. I plan to talk to 4 points. 1. When we speak about economic growth and economic development, there are many distinctions available. We normally speak about growth, and my first point is that we need to disabuse ourselves from this excessive focus on economic growth per se. We keep debating this issue. Is it 6.5%? Is it 6.4%? No, it's 6.3%. What is the big difference? 20,000 crore, 30,000 crore in a change in one company's fortunes can affect this 20,000 crore. So kindly don't, to the bright young faces sitting here, kindly don't get carried away by the hyperactivity around these growth numbers. If the economy is growing fast, and if it is one percentage point, no, 0.1 percentage point here or there, please don't get affected by that. Now on growth, we have the distinction between lower middle income, uh, uh, upper middle income, the high income category, etc. It's easy to make these distinctions. Based on a simple Excel sheet, you can make assumptions about exchange rates, make assumptions about inflation, domestic inflation, and make assumptions about population growth. For any given real GDP growth, you get a nominal GDP growth, and you can simulate based on that. The current high income category, World Bank Atlas method, the number is around 14,000 US dollars per capita. So when do we achieve? Do we mean by saying that India becomes a Viksit Bharat by 2047? Do we mean that we become a high income country? Let's not mean that. Now that leads to my second point, which is about the declaration made by the Honorable Prime Minister on 15th August last year on his stream of Viksit Bharat. I read it out. If 14 crore people could break the shackles of slavery, and if 40 crore people could fulfill the dreams of achieving freedom, then 140 crore citizens of my country, 144 crore of my family members, if they set out with a resolution, my first point is a collective resolution, which the Honorable Prime Minister is referring to. If they set out with a resolution, determine a direction and march forward step by step. Second point is step by step, shoulder to shoulder, no matter how great the challenges. So the Honorable Prime Minister is recognizing that on the path of development there will be serious challenges. And how intense the scarcity or the struggle for resources, extremely important. The resources will be scarce. We can overcome every challenge and build a prosperous Bharat. We can achieve the goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. 4 points for the youngsters here. One is a collective resolution to become developed. Second is there will be struggles. Third is there will be scarcity of resources. Fourth is the achievement of the final goal of Viksit Bharat is a step-by-step process. It's a graduated process of progress. So, towards this, the budget of 2025-26 has made an operational definition of Viksit Bharat, which is the following. Viksit Bharat encompasses zero poverty, to 100% good quality school education. 3. Access to high quality, affordable and comprehensive health care. No poverty, education, health care, and the fourth is 100% skilled labor with meaningful employment. The point that ma'am was referring to. 70% women in economic activities. 70% women in economic activities. Farmers making our country the food basket of the world. no poverty, high quality education for all, health for all, fruitful employment opportunities for all, 70% women in the workforce, and India becomes a food basket of the world. And now I get back to your topic, which is Viksit Bharat, harnessing sustainability and inclusive growth. Do you see everything that you need for inclusion in these 6 points? I see them. No poverty, good education, good health, fruitful employment, women to the maximum in the labor force, and a high yielding agricultural sector. Now that leads to my 4th point, which is about sustainability. Sustainability has many dimensions. We normally see it from the angle of environmental sustainability. I want your attention to be drawn to 3 more dimensions. 1, it is about the sustainability in the public finances of the government. Now that is public finance as a discipline. You can hand count the number of public finance experts in the country. So public finance as a discipline has to come up. The corporate finance is booming. The expertise on corporate finance is booming. And what is meant by fiscal sustainability? We normally get engrossed in this first difference, which is the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is the first difference of debt, if you really see. But the real problem is in debt. Debt is what affects the solvency of the country. Then if you see, the union government is focusing a lot on reducing the debt in the last 3-4 years after the COVID pandemic related problems. So fiscal sustainability, and how many institutions are there? We have 3 tiers of government: the union, the states, and a huge unrecognized tier is the local self-governments, and they are not local bodies, they are local self-governments. There are 2.5 lakh Grama Panchayats in the country, and each Grama Panchayat is a government in their own jurisdiction. So they raise revenue, they spend their revenue, they get some devolution from above. So fiscal sustainability has all these three entities becoming fiscally sustainable, which is union, states, and the 3 tiers of local self-governance. My second point is about the balance between labor and capital incomes, which is one thing which is under focus these days. What is that balance? Now, what is for youngsters? Let me get back to what is GDP. We will say it is the final value of goods and services produced in the country, counted without duplication. But what is that? I would say it is the sum of wages and profits. Profits include all the other factor incomes also. So the capital gets a price of profit which subsumes rental incomes and interest incomes, and labor get an income called wages. Now, the profit income of the capital, what happens to that? It mostly gets invested. It is not used for consumption purposes. You refer to your C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where C is the maximum in India. Private final consumption expenditure is more than 60% of GDP. So if C has to grow, the wage bill has to grow. The wage earners consume. Get back to your textbooks of accelerator and multiplier. The multiplier doesn't have an existence if accelerator doesn't exist. So the balance between labor income and capital income is important. kindly see that balance, the factor income balance. The third balance, the third balance that I would like to talk about is regional balance, which is an important component of sustainability. Balanced regional growth. So while you keep the environmental concerns in mind, kindly keep these three more concerns also in mind: the fiscal sustainability, the balance between labor and capital incomes, and the regional balance of ensuing growth and development. I see many interesting topics lined up for discussions here. Talking to this particular point of sustainability and inclusion, there are many sessions on inclusion, many sessions on digitization, marketing, etc. And there is an important session on urban infrastructure and sustainable development. So I wish all the best for this seminar, and thanks once again for inviting me to this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are grateful for your presence. I would now like to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Pathak, who is joining us virtually from California. Gaurav Pathak is a product leader with an extensive background in artificial intelligence, metadata management, and enterprise software. Currently serving as the Vice President of Product Management at Informatica, Mr. Pathak leads the CLARE data science and product management team, leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning to enhance user productivity across Informatica's data management products. Prior to his current position, Sir held several roles at Informatica and Oracle with a focus on metadata products, data management, and business intelligence. He was a product leader responsible for Informatica's enterprise data catalog and cloud data governance products. Mr. Pathak pursued an MBA from the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and a BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology. We'd be honored if you could share your valuable insights, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a big introduction. But good morning, esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, fellow innovators, and all the minds of the future gathered here today. It is a true honor to address you at this inspiring conference. I do lead a AI product here at Informatica. In fact, all of our AI product portfolio. But today I will not be talking about AI. Instead, I want to share my path and journey through the lens of three key phases of Vikas development. For me, they are learning, doing, and being. Now, for me, growing up in India during the transformative decades of the 1980s and 1990s was an amazing experience. My father was an engineer at an organization called Digjam. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. It was a textile firm based in Jamnagar, Gujarat. And it was an interesting time. India then was a closed economy characterized by heavy regulations, high import tariffs. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, and limited foreign trade. I remember when my father had to get a scooter, he had to register for it 2 years ago, and then eventually he got it after a long, long time. Now, all of this approach led to financial strains, ending in an economic crisis in 1991. We were facing a critical shortage of foreign exchange reserves, and India was compelled to do something new, initiate revolutionary economic reforms which opened our economy to global markets and foreign investments, dramatically changing the shape of our economy. Now, this was an interesting time. While economic reforms unleashed explosive growth across many different sectors, they also triggered upheavals in industries like textiles, causing many, including my father, to navigate through multiple job changes. My childhood really became a nomadic journey because of this, having to go about 6 schools in about 7 years. from different cities in the country, from Jamnagar, Gujarat to Raipur, Madhya Pradesh. At that point, it was in Madhya Pradesh, Mehsana, Gujarat, then to Mohali in Punjab, and finally, I finished my schooling in Hyderabad in Andhra Pradesh at that point of time. But these rapid shifts taught me perhaps one of my greatest skills, which is adaptation. Adapting when you move so often, adapting when you have to make new friends, when you have to learn new languages and call a new place home, is an indispensable skill that shapes who you become. Adaptation demands self belief, the confidence that no matter how uncertain the future may seem, we will thrive. Adaptation demands openness. India learned this lesson vividly in the 90s when we went through economic liberalization as the nation opened its doors to global trade, shedding decades of resistance to change. And that brought in technology. Computers, internets transformed us in the 90s. And when it was turn of the mobile technology to come in, we leapt ahead of the world. My learning phase, at least that first one, was ending and the doing phase was beginning. It was 2003. That's when I began my career. India was rapidly evolving into a global technology powerhouse. From my engineering college in Allahabad, which is now Prayagraj, my journey took me to Bangalore, another city, coming to, all these, coming to terms with all of this rapid change that was happening. Indian companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS, they were redefining IT services, while global tech giants like Microsoft, Oracle, so many others were setting up their development hubs in our country. Initially, we handled back office tasks, but soon the world recognized India's true potential, entrusting us with product inception, innovation, end to end development. At Informatica, which is the company that I've been currently working for, I witnessed firsthand how products were conceived and developed in India. It changed our product portfolio and then were used by customers and users across the world. India surged ahead, lots of new innovations. The one that I love the most is the Unified Payments Interface, UPI, a payment system that's unmatched in the world. Our readiness to embrace this change, catapulted many industries, whether it be food delivery, grocery, anything delivery, in fact, education, digital media, into a big exponential growth track. Ironically, nations like the US, who were deeply invested in the second generation card networks and systems, are still stuck there. Living now in California, I feel a twinge of frustration every time I make a financial transaction. It's not always fully secure like what we have in India with two-factor authentications and UPI. It also makes me a little proud of what the new India can do and who we can be. And that is why when a new change comes, it is important for us to pause and reflect on where we have been, where we are, and where we want to go next. More importantly, what we want to become. Now, this pause allows us this opportunity to understand what our experiences were, what brought us successes and setbacks, what brings us true joy, and also express gratitude to those who have contributed to our journeys. Today, we stand at the threshold of perhaps the most transformative technological shift of our lifetime, which is AI, artificial intelligence. AI is more than an incremental step forward. It offers the promise of creating machines capable of reasoning, learning, taking actions that could change the way we have lived our lives. Whether it is bringing more abundance, lifting people out of poverty, doing more with less, AI promises us all of that. Now, we as a country and as a people have proven our adaptability from economic liberalization in 90s to mobile technologies of the 2000s and digital infrastructure like UPI in 2010s. Our global diaspora's extraordinary achievements show our immense potential as well. Change, once again, is at our doorstep. As we envision Viksit Bharat for 2047, I urge each of you to embrace these cycles, learn deeply, do purposefully, and be as thoughtfully as you can. This skill of adaptation that all of you have will help us build a thriving India that leads globally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us all the way from California. We know the time difference wouldn't have been made it easy for you, but thank you for being a part of this conference. It's time to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Praveen Dwivedi. Mr. Praveen Dwivedi, a technocrat who has been with the public sector for over 2 decades, an alumnus of IIM Raipur and ISB. Mr. Dwivedi's professional journey includes stints with large technology conglomerates hues such as Intel Incorporated, Ericsson, Hitachi, MGRM, etc. He has witnessed the change both in technology and the way the adoption of technology has impacted lives in various fields. Currently, Mr. Dwivedi represents ETS in capacity of Senior Vice President, Public Sector and Public Policy Affairs. His few volunteering includes chairman at Skills Development and Entrepreneurship Cell at MSME and Startup Forum. Bharat founder member at Bharat Bhagya Vidata Forum. Member of the BIS committee since 2013. Business Blaster coach to Delhi government for last 2 years and advisor at CMAI. We invite you to enlighten us with your perspective, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Amity. Thanks, School of Economics, giving me an opportunity. I see a very known face to my colony here. I stay in Noida. Um, Welcome, everyone. Very vibrant group of students. Really feel like going back to college now. Uh, that's great. With this vibrancy, I think we are also discussing something which is very vibrant for the coming India, and it's very pertinent and important. We uh, understand what is the role going to be played by us, what is that this crowd sitting here is going to witness, and also be the part of the transition of what India is looking forward for. So, just to give you a little introduction, I've been into the side of business. I've been doing a lot of policy, public policy for India. I have served for a range of organizations like ranging from telecom to cloud to education uh, to representing certain forums like MSME. Now, MSME forum, uh, and my talk will be, around how do we do this? Inclusion is fine, GDP is fine, but how do we reach it? And what is the kind of role you folks are going to play when it comes to the real players and real makers of India? Micro, small, medium enterprise is something which uh, is going to play a very critical and crucial role in the country. We envisaged sometime, uh, maybe some 5 years ago, and we thought of something called MSME Bharat Forum. This is something blessed by a gentleman and envisaged by him sitting at Varanasi. So he is part of the international uh, forum of BJP also, and our patron is Vijay Chotewala ji. So we started this as a small group, and we said, okay, we are supposed to reach out to the MSMEs of the world and making sure all SMEs come along at one place, at one platter, and we can give them all support to make sure that they are getting what they need for their scale up, for their understanding. And by God's grace, in last 5 6 years of time, we have multiple verticals. We have a healthcare vertical, we have entrepreneurship vertical. I chair both of them, and we have multiple other verticals who are serving in multiple food. Food is one. We have recently done some good export at Dubai, representing India's MSME, all SMEs, taking to Dubai and making sure that they learn where the world is moving around. And I'm really proud to say we are currently a 15,000 MSME family, and we have been supporting them, making sure that whatever they need should come up to them. Now, we should understand that, since MSME is not only going to play a very crucial role in providing large employment opportunities, it also makes sure that with the lower investment, how can you raise an organization which can be a larger, small, medium, or enterprise? And there's going to be definitely, contributing the economy of India. That's for sure. We know currently, if we look at the numbers, we have 40 million MSMEs in the country. The contribution, if you look at, they are one of the contributors who contribute to 30% of the GDP, and that's what the ranging between 29%, 30%. And I think I would agree to the last speaker from the Ministry of Finance. I think we should not be bogged up with as those 0.01% of, and you should not get into it. That leave it to us, who are there, who are sitting as a policymakers working, leave it to the government. But yeah, what we need to understand that what role we play, how can we contribute? So if you look at the SMEs, there are certain parameters on which they are going to do this entire steps taken to be there. There has to be there's a long procedure looks like, but it's very very absolutely simplified. When it comes for in a current situation, when it comes from India government to make sure that how easy we have made to make sure that you can start your own business. It could be small, medium enterprise, a large private limited conglomerate you become. But before that, the steps have been really very easy. And the key indicators, which would be part of, if you look at MSME in Viksit Bharat 2047. So we are eyeing on 2030 right now. Government's vision is absolutely larger. We are looking at, making sure that the economic growth contribution has to be there. And that's where we want to bring in India, making sure we contribute to the youngsters, especially to start their own startups. Now here, I have a question for the audience here, and uh, I think that's really interesting and very pertinent to know at this stage. How many of you really want to start your own businesses or enterprise? Can I have some hands raised? No, one, only one, two. Bhagav guys, ऐसे तो इंडिया विकसित भारत हो गया. So okay, two. I think two, and I think we are sitting in a forum where we have more economists and who are going to play a pivotal role in developing and building up India. But having said that, we have two people there. Can I? What's your name? Krish. Krish, good to know you. What's in your mind? Do you have something in your mind? And if you look at starting up a business, what are the challenges which you think you're going to face? Is it going to raise money? Is it going to be technology? Is it going to be an ideation? And even if you have all of this, how are you looking at it? If you can just share with us. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the biggest challenge is taxation today because even when I was filing for the the trademark, I paid 27,000 rupees for the just application of it. So, sorry, stage right.
And you paid it to the what? Chartered accountant?
No, for the application, government application.
Registering on Udyam portal or how?
No, the trademark.
For the trademark.
Yeah. And even the when I was buying the domain for my site, I paid only 500 to 1,000 rupees tax for the domain. So that is the biggest challenge, the money.
Okay, and have you really gone for any funding so far?
No.
Any thoughts?
Yes.
And where are you going to invest that funding?
In development. In development.
Development of the product?
I have already developed it. I am actually going to market it today. And so when we test it for the market, and if it is successful, I will then go for funding.
So partially into tech and then into marketing and branding. That's what you're looking at.
Yes.
Is it? Fantastic. God bless you. And I think we should be successful into your endeavor. But then good to meet people like you. And I think what you said is right. We have certain challenges, but then yes, we keep on getting such challenges. We keep on getting such feedbacks. We whenever we get an opportunity, when I sit with the SME, bureaucracy or the policymakers, I definitely keep on recommending such thing. I think that's good to know that you started. Sad to know you have to struggle with that money to find out at this stage. But all the best, good wishes to you.
Thank you, sir.
Who's the other gentleman? The second person.
Hello. Sir, skilled labor is very, in India is very problematic right now. We can't able to hire skilled people right now.
And which area specific it would be to?
I mean, sir, manufacturing sector. Sir, offset printing and book binding business we have, my family have. We struggle with labor and also labor laws also in India.
So you have this is your parental business, and you're taking it over. Fantastic. So you're going to be a second gen, third gen entrepreneur. Good. So look, there are. I am not sure about your books. How does it look there? But then if you look at the skilled laborers, try to understand. We have some 37 or more than that sector skill councils, which is there, blessed by Ministry of Skill. MSD, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, under which we have something called NSDC, which controls all the sector skill councils, and that's where people are getting trained. Now, our advocacy, if you look at from employability point of view, to the government has been okay. The first grade qualification which we bring in from colleges like institutions like Amity, and then looking at the general purposes of graduation, economics, looking at science and technology, and BE engineering and whatnot. Beyond that, we have been talking about something where the skill could be raised. So, from if you look at from my perspective, uh, trained and being skilled are two different things. Being educated and being skilled are two different things. So, doesn't mean that I am educated, I am fully skilled. And I think बहुत हद तक education cannot deal with something called being a skilled workforce. So I had been given an example, Sachin Tendulkar playing cricket. That's a skill, right? That's an appetite which is bought by him, by his own birth. That's a skill. That's a talent which he brings in. But then, for you people like you who are facing such concerns, I'm sure we already are on that path. And recently, I was talking to CBSE and the mix of higher education bureaucracy, and we are talking about how can we leverage the school-going students and make sure they're skilled around their 8th, 9th, 10th grade, and that's the plan which we are working on. The other thing which I really really feel bad about is हम अपने ही कंट्री में अपने ही की हुई चीजों को we don't give a lot of respect to it. So, for example, if somebody in your family or in your vicinity, if someone says that I'm studying from ITI, you look at at a very scary way. ITI पढ़ रहा है, polytechnic पढ़ रहा है, but then the skilled labor, what he's talking about, actually we get it from there. Those are the people who are not sitting here in India. And if you look at the total numbers of the candidates who are trained, who are registered, who are trained, ratio of dropout in all the ITIs is approximately 35-40%. Now that's a different reason. That needs a deep dive discussion on that. But point is, we are having skill forces. We are doing the advocacy that we should create the skills and make sure that anybody whom you know around yourself who are deprived from for getting education like you, who still have some vision, some dreams of their own, to make sure that they are part of our life, make sure that they are getting trained. And those trainings are available through sector skill councils, through a lot of other initiatives by Government of India, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, PM KVY, and there are many, I mean, it's endless kind of, the list is huge. And 37, 38 sector skill council means there are 37, 38, verticals open, and then there are job roles and nothing else. So beyond that, I think that's a fair point, but things are there. You should look more. No? You're based out of Noida or which place? Delhi. Thank you so much, and I think a great round of applause for these two folks. At least they have started thinking, where we are looking at. I'll tell you, SMEs, why we are looking at SMEs. We have, very successful stories. You remember Lijjat Papad, everyone knows. It's a small Gujarati family born to Mumbai, established way back, and now that's approximately 700 crores popular weight. So imagine, small setup of a house, what all could be done. I mean, what all you could do. We have an example into tech adoption. Anything which you are doing at tech, my friend. A small company which starts in 2005. Now it's close to again 700 crores company which is doing really well. Sorry, Lijjat Papad is close to 1600 crores. So a small setup could be make big. And my firm belief is start small, make it big. Do not think overnight changing. आज ही मैं अमीर हो जाऊंगा, सबसे ज़्यादा पैसे मेरे पास हो जाएंगे. I am the one, and don't look at those reels. What you have on YouTube. आप एक दिन में बन सकते हैं. There's no shortcut in life, please. Just try to avoid that. So, having said that, there are certain schemes also which government funds. There is for sure making a financial inclusion. The Government of India has a CGST MSME scheme where you could get a collateral fee close to 5 crores or rupees. I think you need to have certain documentation done, and that's a process which you need to adhere to. There's a help from complete transition of registering yourself, making sure that you're a part of that fraternity. So there is a portal which is a tech platform, which is a tech support from Government of India, which is Udyam portal. So these are the things which are absolutely available on on the web, in the Google. You just Google it out. So India is definitely making it out. Now, tell me another thing. Do we want to make sure that we are one who wants to become a job takers world or job givers world? Where do we look ourselves? You want to be a job giver or job takers? Folks, so kya? Economics है बाबा, it's not so boring. मैं economics नहीं पढ़ा रहा हूँ. So, do you really want to be in a world where we are, who contribute in terms of giving jobs, or you want always to be a job takers? Job givers or job takers? Job givers or job takers? Loud, man, loud. So I think with this, I definitely want, thanks once again, folks gave me so much of time, a patient hearing. We hear what we are looking at. India's economy is going to be built by you folks. Try to understand. This economy needs you absolutely, fairly, alive, fairly actively involved, and make sure that you are building up the next economy and the next India. Thank you so much with this. Best wishes to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an interactive and insightful discussion. As we discuss the roadmap to Viksit Bharat 2047, it is essential to understand the government's vision and approach. We are honored to have with us Sri Gopal Krishna Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP, to share insights on how policy, governance, and strategic initiatives are shaping India's journey towards a developed future. He has initiated various public projects like Jalidhikar Foundation, Nagrik Manch, etc. Sir, it's an honor to have you with us here today. We would really appreciate your valuable insights and wisdom.
धन्यवाद। मेरे साथ मंच पर उपस्थित मैडम इंदू जी, नीरू जी और प्रवीण जी, यहाँ पर उपस्थित फैकल्टी मेंबर्स और प्यारे साथियों, अभी और सुनना है ना थोड़ी देर, है ना? अच्छा ये बताओ कि कौन विकसित भारत, यहाँ पे कौन कौन चाहते हैं कि विकसित भारत हो जाए? हाथ उठा लो एक बार। सब नहीं चाहते कि विकसित भारत बन जाए? अच्छा, विकसित भारत बनेगा तो सबसे ज्यादा फायदा किसको होगा? हम लोगों को होगा ना? और तो हाँ, तो सबसे ज्यादा जोश आप में होना चाहिए। दोनों हाथ उठा के मेरे साथ एक बार नारा लगाना जोर से, भारत माता की। दोनों हाथ उठा के जोर से, जितनी जोर से बोल सको, पता तो चले यूथ एनर्जी यहाँ पर है। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, वंदे वंदे। देखो, विकसित भारत प्रधानमंत्री जी जब कहते हैं 2047 में होगा, उसमें सबसे ज्यादा फायदा हम लोगों को ही होगा। और कौन करेगा? ट्रंप तो नहीं आके, सुनो सुनो ध्यान से, ज्यादा लंबा नहीं बोलूंगा, शांति से सुनना। आपके काम की बात करूंगा, विकसित भारत में आपका पार्टिसिपेशन कैसे हो। कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ पे सबने बता दिया, विजन बता दिया, कहाँ जाना है गोल बता दिया। अब हमारा क्या रोल होने वाला है या हमें उससे कैसे फायदा होगा, इस पे मैं फोकस करूंगा। क्यों? क्योंकि आज जिस कैरियर के पड़ाव पे आप लोग हो, सबसे ज्यादा यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन व्हाट कैरियर यू वांट टू टेक, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट ना। विकसित भारत में आपकी भागीदारी कैसे हो, ये सब महत्वपूर्ण है ना। तो उसके लिए कुछ एरियाज मैं आपके सामने रखूंगा और वह हम लोग कैसे उसमें भागीदारी सुनिश्चित करें, हमें विकसित भारत का क्या फायदा होगा, कैसे हम अपना कैरियर उससे अलाइन करें, ताकि जो इंडिविजुअल ऑब्जेक्टिव है, हम सबके ऑब्जेक्टिव है, वी शुड हैव अ हैप्पी लाइफ, हैप्पी फैमिली लाइफ, फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी, ग्रेट रिकॉग्निशन इन द सोसाइटी, एवरीथिंग दिस वी वांट। तो हमारी पार्टिसिपेशन उसमें होगी at the level at which we are working, तो certain areas are important for you। और प्रधानमंत्री जब यंग एम्बेसडर डायलॉग जो कह रहे हैं, ये विकसित भारत जो आज इंस्टीट्यूशन ने प्रोग्राम किया है, ये प्रधानमंत्री जी के निवेदन पे, आह्वान पे किया गया है। उन्होंने कहा है कि यंग इंडिया के लोगों को एम्बेसडर्स बनाना है, यंग इंडिया को डायलॉग के साथ, उनके डायलॉग के साथ उनकी एस्पिरेशंस को समझना है, उनको सरकार की योजनाओं का, सरकार के इनिशिएटिव का, सरकार के फोकस के एरियाज को उनको बताना है, ताकि वो अपने कैरियर को उन चीजों से अलाइन करे और भागीदारी सुनिश्चित करे, है ना? यही है ना इसका लक्ष्य, यंग इंडिया डायलॉग जो है। तो देखो, मैं ये बताना चाहता हूं, अच्छा एक बार पोटेंशियल है, किसी में बहुत पोटेंशियल है जीवन में, और पोटेंशियल से हैज ही अचीव्ड द ऑब्जेक्टिव? नो, ही हैज नॉट रीच्ड द गोल। पोटेंशियल डजंट मीन कि यू हैव अचीव्ड द गोल। आज विकसित भारत का बहुत पोटेंशियल है, भारत में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है, नॉलेज है, रिसर्च है, नॉलेज इकोनॉमी है, लैंड है, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है, यंग पॉपुलेशन है, डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड है, सब चीजें हैं, गवर्नेंस है, स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट है, गवर्नमेंट विद अ विजन है। लेकिन उस पोटेंशियल को हमने रियलाइज कर लिया, ये नहीं होता जब तक हम लोग उस पोटेंशियल को ग्राउंड पे, रियलिटी पे लेके नहीं आएंगे, तब तक विकसित भारत नहीं बनेगा। तो यह बात भी बिल्कुल ध्यान में रखना है, केवल विकसित भारत एक नारे के रूप में अगर हम लेंगे तो वह कभी अचीव नहीं होगा। तो यह बात मैं आपके सामने ओपनिंग रिमार्क में जरूर कहना चाहता था। और जैसे बताया है कि 3 चीजें महत्वपूर्ण है आपके टॉपिक में, इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट, सस्टेनेबल प्रोग्रेस और इफेक्टिव गवर्नेंस। ये तीनों विकसित भारत के लिए बहुत जरूरी है, हम सबको इसके लिए काम करना है। और अल्टीमेटली हमें अब जिस मुकाम पे हम हैं, हमारे कैरियर को वहां पे अगर हम अलाइन करते हैं जहां पे गवर्नमेंट का इन्वेस्टमेंट्स है, जहां पे गवर्नमेंट का फोकस है, जिन एरियाज में भारत में अच्छी इफेक्टिवली पोटेंशियल्स है, उन एरियाज में अगर हम अपने कैरियर को अलाइन करेंगे तो हमारा भी अच्छी तरह से ऑब्जेक्टिव पूरा होगा, हमारे परिवार का भी ऑब्जेक्टिव पूरा होगा, हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशन जो आपको इतनी मेहनत से ट्रेनिंग दे रहा है, इतने आपके लिए इतने तरह के इकोसिस्टम्स क्रिएट कर रहा है। आज सब यहाँ पे ये जो प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, 2 दिन का ये सेमिनार होगा, इसमें बहुत सारे विषय आपके ध्यान में आएंगे। तो मैं कुछ सेक्टर्स आपके पास आइडेंटिफाई करके आपको बता दूंगा जहां पे बजट में बहुत प्रोविजन है, सरकार बहुत इन्वेस्ट कर रही है। मैं पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस में कई एंटरप्राइजेस में काम कर चुका हूं एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर। वहां पे पीएसयूज का बहुत इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है, कैपेक्स हो रहा है, ग्लोबल लेवल पे भारत अच्छी तरह से उनमें काम कर रहा है। तो वह एरियाज में आपके सामने अंडरलाइन कर दूंगा। या इन चीजों में अगर आप ध्यान रखेंगे, गवर्नमेंट की वेबसाइट्स बहुत अच्छी है, मिनिस्ट्रीज की वेबसाइट बहुत अच्छी है, पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग्स की वेबसाइट बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन देती है। आजकल इंटरनेट का जमाना है, आप जो इसके माध्यम से इन जानकारियों को इकट्ठा करते हुए अपने कैरियर को अलाइन करेंगे। यही मेरा इच्छा भी है, यही मेरा उद्देश्य भी है। देखो, सबसे बड़ी बात जो एक आज के समय में, आने वाले समय में भारत बहुत तेजी से प्रोग्रेस करेगा, वह है कल्चरल इकोनॉमी के फील्ड में। भारत की पोटेंशियल बहुत स्ट्रांग थी, बहुत कैपेसिटी स्ट्रांग हिस्टोरिकली देखेंगे तो आर्ट, म्यूजिक, डांस, फूड, फेस्टिवल, आर्किटेक्चर, इन सब चीजों में भारत में ट्रिमेंडस पोटेंशियल है। इनके इकोनॉमिक कनेक्ट को स्टैब्लिश करने का हम लोग बहुत प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में काम कर रहे हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश में हम रहते हैं, अभी हमने देखा कुंभ ने केवल 8,000 करोड़ गवर्नमेंट ने स्पेंड किए हैं, but it has created an economic activity of more than 3 lakh crores। ऐसे कई चीजों में, अभी हम वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम में स्मृति ईरानी जी पीछे गई थी भारत को रिप्रेजेंट करते हुए, तो वहां पे अयोध्या में सबसे ज्यादा वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई, तो लोगों ने उनसे पूछा कि अयोध्या में हम कैसे इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। टूरिज्म, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, रोड, रेलवे, टूरिज्म, होटल, इन सब इंडस्ट्रीज को हम कैसे, इंडिया के हैंडीक्राफ्ट, ऐसी सब चीजों के अंदर हम कैसे इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। दिस वाज द बिगेस्ट इंक्वायरी दैट शी हैड इन द प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस। तो कल्चरल इकोनॉमी के वेरियस एस्पेक्ट का जो इकोनॉमिक कनेक्ट है, उसको स्टैब्लिश करने के लिए सरकार बहुत पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध है। इस फील्ड में आप बहुत अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं। दे आर नॉट जस्ट ओनली हॉबीज, but they have economic values and they have created tremendous value for India economically in the past. So they have a big potential। एक है एंटरप्रेन्योर, सरकार का दूसरा बात है, अभी यहाँ पे पूछा, 2 ही लोग एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की बात कर रहे थे। देखिए, जॉब सीकर्स अगर हम बनेंगे तो सरकार इतनी बड़ी पॉपुलेशन को कभी भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं दे सकती, जॉब्स नहीं दे सकती, ना प्राइवेट सेक्टर दे सकता है, ना गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर दे सकता है। सरकार एक इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट करिए, स्टैंड अप इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया, जेम, ओएनडीसी, ये सब मार्केट, ई मार्केट फैसिलिटी, ई कॉमर्स फैसिलिटीज क्रिएट कर रही है। और उसको फाइनेंसिंग के लिए जो बैंकों को फाइनेंसिंग कर रहे हैं, स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स, जो अलग अलग एमएसएमई के जो फाइनेंसिंग है, अलग अलग तरह के वेरियस, इवन सिडबी, नाबार्ड, ये छोटे छोटे फाइनेंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, प्रोवाइडिंग स्किलिंग एंड फाइनेंसिंग विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को अलग अलग विधाओं में ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं, उनको फाइनेंसिंग कर रहे हैं। विश्वकर्मा योजना है, ई श्रम पोर्टल्स है, ये सारी चीजें, मैं इतना ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा, आप लोग इंटरनेट के माध्यम से जान सकते हैं। एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया विच विल डिफाइन योर फ्यूचर इकोनॉमिक कैरियर एंड दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सरकार का फोकस सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट में है। उसमें स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम है, स्टैंड अप है, यूनिकॉर्न्स। आप देखो, एक समय था डिफेंस में 90% हम अपनी डिफेंस के इक्विपमेंट भारत में इंपोर्ट करते थे। लास्ट ईयर 68% ऑफ आवर डिफेंस रिक्वायरमेंट हैव बीन प्रोक्योर्ड डोमेस्टिकली। स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी में 100 से 200, कल ही प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने पॉडकास्ट में बोला कि 200 से ऊपर जो स्टार्टअप है, यूनिकॉर्न्स है, स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी में बन गए। फिनटेक में देखो, मैं फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स में भी काम करता हूँ, फिनटेक में इतने ज्यादा इनोवेशन आ रहे हैं, प्रोडक्ट आ रहे हैं, नए नए तरह के सर्विस डिलीवरी प्रोडक्ट्स आ रहे हैं। इंडिया इज ए स्ट्रॉन्ग सर्विस इंडस्ट्री इंडिया की है, उसमें सर्विस इंडस्ट्रीज में जो लोगों को प्रोवाइड करनी है, जैसे डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर है, ऐसे बहुत सारे हमने ऐप डेवलपमेंट के काम देखे हैं जिनके फिनटेक से रिलेटेड कई तरह के प्रोडक्ट हैं। तो इनमें फिनटेक है, स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी है। पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग्स में मैं आपको बता दूं, हर पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग अपने वेबसाइट पे अब प्रोसेसेस एंड प्रोडक्ट चैलेंजेस को अपलोड करते हैं। प्रोसेसेस एंड प्रोडक्ट चैलेंजेस को अपलोड करते हैं। दोज हु कैन फाइंड सॉल्यूशन टू दोज दे विल फाइनेंस। मैं भारत पेट्रोलियम में था, उसके पहले बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में था। ह्यूज फाइनेंसिंग अवेलेबल है, फंड्स अवेलेबल है, जिसके माध्यम से आप जो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, अगर कोई प्रोसेस सॉल्यूशन डेवलप करता है घर बैठे हुए, चाहे प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करता है, तो उसको प्रोटोटाइप डेवलप करने के लिए, रिसर्च करने के लिए, उसके बाद उस प्रोडक्ट को खरीदने का काम भी पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग करती है। और हर पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग को प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि आपके जो जो भी चैलेंजेस हैं, यू पुट अप इन योर वेबसाइट, whoever comes with the solution, work on the solution, they will be financed। तो यह चीजें मुझे लगता है बहुत अच्छी है। एक बात अभी हम मेरे पूर्व वक्ता ने की थी, पब्लिक पॉलिसी के लेवल पे हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत कम कैपेसिटी है, पब्लिक फाइनेंस के अंदर बहुत कम कैपेसिटी। अब इंडिया विकसित भारत बनेगा तो ग्लोबली एक्सपेंड कर रहे हैं। वी वांट टू हैव फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट विद मल्टीपल कंट्रीज, वी वांट टू टेक मोर पार्टिसिपेशन इन मल्टीलेटरल फोरम्स लाइक गेट, WTO, वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम। इन सब में जब जाते हैं हम लोग देखते हैं कि हमारे पास जितना रिसर्च करके और कंट्रीज से लोग आए होते हैं, उस तरह का रिसर्च, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, डेटा हमारे पास कई बार नहीं होता। इसमें ट्रिमेंडस स्किल की कमी है। इन फील्ड में अगर हम पब्लिक पॉलिसी डोमेन में अपने एजुकेशन को ला जाते हैं, डेटा एसिमुलेशन, रिसर्च, एनालिटिक्स, इन सब में, इकोनॉमिक्स इज ए गुड फील्ड, इट्स ए साइंस वेयर यू कैन गेट इनटू दिस फील्ड। अगर इन चीजों में जाते हैं तो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण तरीके का आप काम कर सकते हैं। मेजर आर्ट, अब योगी जी ने कहा है कि हम नोएडा में, हम गौतम बुद्ध नगर में रहते हैं, योगी जी ने कहा कि हम नोएडा को इंटरनेशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर बनाएंगे, इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सेंटर बनाएंगे, इंटरनेशनल डिजाइन सेंटर बनाएंगे। ये सब इनेबलिंग एनवायरनमेंट करेंगे। इटली का ग्रोथ मैक्सिमम डिजाइन से, न्यू डिजाइन डेवलप करके उनकी इकोनॉमी ग्रो करिए। सिंगापुर का जो है वो इंटरनेशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर के हिसाब से उनकी इकोनॉमी में मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन है। लंदन, हांगकांग इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सेंटर्स के रूप में बहुत उनकी इकोनॉमी में ग्रोथ होता है। तो यह पोटेंशियल अगर हमें मिलेगा यहाँ पे, इनेबलिंग एनवायरनमेंट योगी जी क्रिएट करने की बात करते हैं। गिफ्ट सिटी में, ऐसे बॉम्बे में, बांद्रा कुर्ला में इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सेंटर है, इंटरनेशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर्स है, इंटरनेशनल डिजाइन सेंटर्स है। इन सब के लिए बहुत सारे स्किल्स चाहिए। और सबसे बड़ी बात है, जब हम मेजॉरिटी एमएनसी वगैरह को देखते हैं, क्योंकि मैं कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड से जुड़ा हूं, हम देखते हैं कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट डिजाइन में हमारे मेजर लीगल जो कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज आती है वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट डिजाइन में नहीं। इवन गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग, स्पेसिफिकली उन्होंने कहा है कि हमारे यहाँ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एग्रीमेंट्स डिजाइन करने की जो स्किल है उसकी कमी है। तो ये फील्ड भी मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण तरीके से आगे जा सकते हैं। AI, 5G, 6G, ये इनके आने वाले समय में बहुत डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है। अभी कल ही का जो पॉडकास्ट है PM का, उसमें काफी ज्यादा उन्होंने AI के ऊपर डिस्कशन किया है। उसके साथ AI के अभी कई ऐसे एरियाज सामने आ रहे हैं कि व्हाट इट विल हैव इफेक्ट ऑन ह्यूमन रिलेशनशिप, व्हाट इट विल हैव इफेक्ट ऑन हेल्थ ऑफ इंडिविजुअल, माइंड्स पे क्या होगा, उसका मेंटल कितना इफेक्ट होगा। इन सब चीजों में अगर AI में ग्लोबल लीडरशिप भारत को अटेन करने की जब बात करते हैं, तो उसमें ग्लोबल लीडरशिप में इन सब एरियाज में हमें स्टडी करना ही चाहिए, आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। क्लाइमेट चेंज में बहुत सरकार जो है, भारत ग्लोबल लीडरशिप अटेन करने का प्रयास कर रहा है। उसके अंदर कार्बन क्रेडिट जैसे, अब कार्बन एक्सचेंज हमारे यहाँ फाइनेंशियल टेक्नोलॉजी में एक्सचेंज बहुत अच्छे काम करते हैं, लेकिन कार्बन क्रेडिट की ट्रेडिंग भी हो सकती है। इस सारे चीजों में नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज और अलग अलग नए नए एक्सचेंज आगे आ रहे हैं, उन सब में बहुत कैरियर मेरे ख्याल से सामने आते हैं। अर्बन प्लानिंग, अब स्मार्ट सिटीज डेवलप करना, अर्बन प्लानिंग में सैनिटेशन है, कनेक्टिविटी है। अब कल ही अश्विनी वैष्णव जी ने अभी मद्रास IIT ने एक हाइपर लूप जो कनेक्टिविटी की बात की है, उसके अंदर लगभग 8.5 करोड़ केंद्र सरकार ने उनको ग्रांट दी थी, और उन्होंने अभी डेवलप किया प्रोटोटाइप, which the government has said there is no dearth of funding in if you develop this हाइपर लूप ऑफ कनेक्टिविटी, एयरपोर्ट्स बन रहे हैं, उसके सारे अलाइड सर्विसेज की बात आती है। यह सारी चीजें मुझे लगता है कि ये एरियाज आप लोगों को ध्यान में रखने चाहिए, इस पे काम करना चाहिए, बहुत पोटेंशियल्स है। विकसित भारत होगा, लेकिन सरकार केवल इनेबलिंग एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करेगी, इकोसिस्टम करेगी, हम लोगों को पार्टिसिपेट करके उसमें आगे आके उसके साथ उसमें अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव को सरकार के ऑब्जेक्टिव के साथ अलाइन करना होगा, तभी यह विकसित भारत आगे बन पाएगा। पीएलआई सरकार ने 14 सेक्टर में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में रीजनल और ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन के लिए खोला है। ऑटोमोबाइल, डिफेंस, टॉय इंडस्ट्री, फार्मास्यूटिकल्स, जिसमें हम ग्लोबल लीडरशिप अटेन कर सकते हैं। इंडिया का इतना पोटेंशियल है। फार्मास्यूटिकल्स में, वैक्सीन में 80% ऑफ द ग्लोबल मार्केट इज having India has a prominence on that. एपीआई के अंदर हमारी बहुत प्रोमिनेंस थी, धीरे धीरे चाइना ने उसको टेक ओवर कर लिया। वापस सरकार कोशिश कर रही है कि जो एपीआई है मेडिसिन में, जेनरिक मेडिसिन वगैरह के अंदर सरकार ग्लोबल लीडरशिप भारत की फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री को मिले। चिप टेक्नोलॉजी का बॉटलनेक हमने कोविड में देखा था, 90,000 करोड़ का सरकार ने फंड एलोकेट किया है। ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी में ह्यूज फंड सरकार ने एलोकेट किया है, ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी के अंतर्गत डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए। तो यह सारी चीजें, रेलवे में बहुत बड़ा, इतना बड़ा रेलवे नेटवर्क कई वर्ल्ड में नहीं, लेकिन उसके अंदर बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस है, सिग्नल्स के हैं और भी कई तरह के चैलेंजेस है। तो मुझे लगता है कि यह बहुत सारे एरियाज हैं, बहुत पोटेंशियल्स भी है। इंडस्ट्री एकेडमिक कनेक्ट यह बहुत लैकिंग कर रहा है। मैं कल ही एक रिपोर्ट पढ़ रहा था कि बहुत सारी जो रिसर्च हो रहे हैं हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में, यहाँ भी बहुत सारे होते हैं, हमारे देश में उसका यह फोकस नहीं है कि उसका कमर्शियल यूज कैसे, उसका इंडस्ट्रियल यूज कैसा हो। अमेरिका में अगर इतना डेवलपमेंट है तो उसका मेन जो रीजन है, उन्होंने जो रिसर्च यूनिवर्सिटीज वगैरह में पेटेंट क्रिएट किए हैं या जो इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स क्रिएट किए हैं, उनको इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट स्टैब्लिश करने का प्रयास किया। हम लोगों को भी उसका कमर्शियल यूज देखना चाहिए, तो आपको फंडिंग भी मिलेगी, वेंचर कैपिटल है, इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स है, 50,000 अटल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर देश में बने। ये किस लिए बने? सारे सरकार फंडिंग करती है, सरकार उसके प्रोडक्ट्स को डेवलप करके उसको खरीदने का वो काम करती है। अब जेम, ओएनडीसी ऐसे अपने आप में, अभी मैं एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में गया था भारत मंडपम में, जीआई टैगिंग, इतने सारे भारत में प्रोडक्ट हैं, पिछले 60 साल में केवल 350 प्रोडक्ट ऐसे हुए थे जिनका की ग्लोबली भारत के लेवल पे जीआई टैगिंग हुई थी। पिछले 5 साल में 650 के करीब हो गए, और इस साल पीयूष गोयल ने टारगेट रखा है कि हम 10,000 जीआई टैग प्रोडक्ट को डेवलप करेंगे। बनारसी साड़ी है, खाने पीने के सामान है, ऐसे कुछ बीट्स है, सहारनपुर के जो काम है, ऐसे सारी चीजों को, और ये लोग हैं जो हाथ से काम करते हैं, इनको टेक्निकली इतने इफेक्टिवली काम करना आता नहीं है। उनको अगर हम कंसल्टेशंस दें, उनके प्रोडक्ट को हम जीआई टैगिंग करके ग्लोबल लेवल पर रिकॉग्निशन मिलेंगे, उनकी कितनी वैल्यू क्रिएट होगी। तो 600 से 10,000 अगर आने वाले 3-4 साल में अगर टारगेट रख रहे हैं तो कितना काम डेवलप होगा। तो इकोनॉमिक देखिए, वर्ल्ड में आज भारत का इतना जो प्रभाव हम देख रहे हैं वो क्यों है? उसका कारण यह है कि लोग सोच रहे हैं कि आने वाले 1-2 डिकेड में इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी विल शिफ्ट टू इंडिया। Therefore, they want to participate in the economic growth and progress of India. उनका इंटरेस्ट भी इसीलिए इतना बढ़ रहा है। और ग्लोबली आप भी देखो, अगर इकोनॉमिक सुपर पावर बने बगैर वर्ल्ड कोई किसी की सुनता नहीं है। आज अगर भारत इकोनॉमिक पावर नहीं बना तो ग्लोबल लीडरशिप अटेन नहीं कर सकता। तो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू अटेन ग्लोबल लीडरशिप। एक समय था जब भारत और चीन ग्लोबल लेवल के 50% ग्लोबल ट्रेड को इंडिया और चीन मिला के कंट्रोल करते थे। आज 1947 में मात्र 2% ग्लोबल ट्रेड को हम लोग पार्टिसिपेट कर पाते थे। तब हमारे देश में भुखमरी थी, गरीबी थी, अनएजुकेशन था। लेकिन आज एक दोबारा रिवाइवल आ रहा है, इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ का फोकस आ रहा है, एंड भारतीय जनता पार्टी clearly understands and accepts this, that businessmen and industrialists are part of nation building. We are not shy of associating with business community, industries at large. एक जो सोशलिज्म का एक जो वो फैक्टर था कि अमीर लोगों को गालियां दो और वो करो, वो चीज में हम बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं रख सकते. हमें पता है कि अगर भारत को ग्लोबल लीडरशिप अटेन करनी है, विकसित भारत का स्टेटस अटेन करना है, तो वी हैव टू बिकम एन इकोनॉमिक सुपर पावर. तो मैं आज अमेठी को के ऑर्गेनाइजर को और सबको धन्यवाद देता हूं कि मुझे यहाँ बुलाया. और अगर आप लोगों में से इन चीजों में अगर डेवलप करते हुए, इन फील्ड को अगर एक्नॉलेज करते हुए, इस चीज पे काम करते हुए आगे बढ़ेंगे, तो मेरे को लगता है कि भारत का जो प्रधानमंत्री का सपना है वो हम सब लोग सामूहिक संकल्प से पूरा कर पाए. अकेले कोई नहीं कर सकता. संकल्प की बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहती है. जिसने भी संकल्प किया उसी ने इतिहास रचा. एक लाइन मैं बचपन में सुनता था, जिसने भी संकल्प किया है उसी ने इतिहास रचा है. हिस्ट्री में देख लो, जिन लोगों ने यंग एज में तय कर लिया कि हम इस काम को करेंगे और उसके लिए जो गुण अर्जित करने हैं, जो कैपेसिटी डेवलप करनी है, जो उसके लिए रिक्वायरमेंट है, उसके ऊपर फोकस तरीके से काम कर दिया. उसमें हेल्थ भी है, एजुकेशन भी है, मेंटल हेल्थ भी है, रिलेशनशिप भी है आपस के, फ्रेंड्स के साथ, अपने परिवार के साथ, देश के साथ, समाज के साथ, एनवायरमेंट के साथ, एनिमल्स के साथ. इन सब के रिलेशनशिप को जो अच्छी तरह से संभाल के संजो के रखता है, वही इस चीज को अचीव करता है. तो मुझे लगता है इस संकल्प के साथ जाएंगे तो यह जो प्रधानमंत्री का आह्वान है यंग इंडिया डायलॉग्स के माध्यम से विकसित भारत के और आपके इंस्टीट्यूशन में किया है, तो मुझे लगता है कि हम इस ऑब्जेक्टिव को अचीव करेंगे. है ना? मानते हैं ना? हाँ, देखिए एक लास्ट बात, स्वाभिमान सबसे बड़ी बात है. अगर आप अपने कोई को भी अपने देश के प्रति स्वाभिमान होना चाहिए, अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन के प्रति स्वाभिमान होना चाहिए. अगर उसके प्रति स्वाभिमान हो तो फिर हम लोग अच्छी तरह से उसके साथ जुड़ के उसके बेनिफिट को उठा सकते हैं. ठीक है? भारत माता की, भारत माता की. धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing us with your interesting perspective on Viksit Bharat. I would now like to request Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar and the convener, Dr. Neeru Sidana, to kindly felicitate our esteemed guests with a token of appreciation. Firstly, we would like to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Thank you so much, sir. We would also like to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Praveen Dwivedi. Thank you so much, sir. We also extend our gratitude to Mr. Gaurav Pathak for being here with us. We really appreciate you for being a part of this conference.
Dr. Neeru Sidana is working as an associate professor at Amity School of Economics and Amity University, Noida. Her area of interest and research are applied economics, econometrics, capital market, and gradings. Her doctorate degree is in financial inclusion in India from Department of Economics, MDU, Rohtak. She has taught postgraduate and undergraduate students for the last 16 years and is involved in research since 2012. She has also worked as an associate professor in Lovely Professional University, Jalandhar, Punjab, and also served as a senior lecturer at Kurukshetra University. We welcome you, ma'am, to give us the note of thanks.
Thank you so much, Sanya. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I stand before you with a heart brimming with gratitude and joy as we are concluding the inaugural session of the conference. I would like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence and made it convenient to attend this inaugural program of 8th National Hybrid Conference organized by Amity School of Economics, Amity University, Noida. I, on the behalf of Organizing Committee of Amity School of Economics, convey deep regard and hearty thanks to our Honorable Founder President Sir Dr. Ashok Chauhan ji for his kind blessing and giving nod for this conference. We owe to you, sir. We are thankful to our respected Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan ji for giving guidance and extending his kind support from the very beginning. Thank you very much, sir. We are thankful to our visionary Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla ma'am. Under your able leadership, this event could be possible. Thank you very much from the core of the heart for your kind care and concerns. We are also thankful to our additional Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sanjeev Bansal sir, for his kind presence at this occasion. Sir, we are honored by your presence and sincerely appreciate your time and participation. I extend my sincere thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Anthony Sarek, for taking time out of their busy schedule to grace this occasion. Your inspiring words and valuable insights have truly enriched us, and we are grateful for your presence and encouragement. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Ms. Bhavna Bhatia ma'am. Your support and dedication are truly appreciated, and we are pleased to have you as our guest of honor. I am sincerely thankful to our guest of honor, Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal ji, for gracing us with his presence and inspiring us all to be as dedicated as Sir himself. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Gaurav Pathak for joining us on this special occasion. Your presence added immense value to the event, and word of encouragement has truly motivated our students. We deeply appreciate your support, sir. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Praveen Trivedi ji, for your kind presence and kind words. All the words exchanged today will undoubtedly motivate us in our future venture. The insights shared by you all today were thought provoking. Your passion and knowledge are truly admirable and contagious. I would like to thank our head of department, Professor Dr. Kavita Angarpurkar ma'am, for her constant guidance, help, and motivation that radiated a source of energy within us. We are thankful to all our faculty colleagues and non-teaching staff members who always stand by us and motivate us. I must add that an event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated student committee headed by Ms. Tanya Tripathi and Devanshi Ghosh. As a convener of this conference, of this event, I stand before you today filled with immense gratitude. I personally extend my hearty thanks to one and all associated with this event for their contribution. Thank you, one and all present here.
I'm concluding करनी है बस concluding करनी. Thank you so much, ma'am, for inspiring us with your valuable words. It gives me great pleasure to conclude this inaugural session of the 8th Hybrid National Conference on Viksit Bharat 2047, harnessing the power of sustainability and inclusive growth by expressing our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all our esteemed guests, speakers, and attendees. Thank you very much.
Students are requested to remain seated. छोड़ भाई
getting a phone call with words. Our actions start with words, and words are everything. Here you can read through all these write ups, load them. If you have rough ideas, store them. If you have questions, you can put them up. If you want to tell your friends what you're working on, you can do that. You can know what your friends are working on. You can discuss, debate. And all the while, it feels like you're wandering in a cherry blossom forest. That explains the aesthetic. This is what Renowork is, the perfect social media for students, for writers, and it's the world's first and only social media symposium. That is Renowork. I'll be showing some posters so that you can join the beta launch, which will be launched in 15 days on 1st April. Thank you.
Next, we have another one. Nishank. Is he here? So we should skip? Okay. So I request all the dignitaries to please join me on the stage so that we can start the panel discussion, which is on entrepreneurship development. Yes, Nishank, please start quickly. We were waiting for you. Quickly come.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nishank Sankritya. I study in this college under Kavita ma'am's mentorship, and I am here to represent my company, Sunana Biofuels and Bioenergy Private Limited. So, first of all, the topic is Viksit Bharat 2047. So, it's very important to know what Viksit Bharat is.
You talk about your company so that we can start.
Okay. So my company is directly linked with Viksit Bharat and its green energy aims with India. So my company is basically we produce CNG, CBG, which is CNG is a byproduct of petroleum. It's naturally occurring. So we produce CNG with biomaterials, biomass. We use Napier as our biomass base, and there's a dome-shaped enclosement in which the gas gets trapped from the underground chamber, where we mix Napier and cow dung. We make a slurry out of it, and then anaerobic digestion takes place, which creates a gas which is mainly composed of methane, carbon dioxide, and H2S. Later on, we scrub it to remove CO2 and H2S, and then we are left with methane. So H2S, methane, and carbon dioxide is combined called biogas. And then when you scrub it, remove the H2S and reduce the quantity of CO2, you are left with CBG, which is then used in LPG. We are using gases at our homes for cooking. So 5% LPG government has mandated, and we have our own CNG pumps. We produce around 2.5 to 3 tons every day, and monthly it's around 90 to 100 tons of CNG production from one plant. So that's all. That's all. That's the gist of my company. I can't go into the specifics. It will take me hours.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
And all the best.
The future depends on what we do in the present, has been rightfully said by Mahatma Gandhi. Good afternoon to all our esteemed dignitaries, panelists, members of the faculty, and students that have gathered here today. With the blessings of our Honorable Founder President Sir Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, Chancellor Sir Dr. Atul Chauhan, and the unwavering support of our Vice Chancellor Ma'am, Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla, and HY Professor Dr. Kavita Indapurkar, Amity School of Economics is organizing the 8th National Conference on Viksit Bharat at 2047, harnessing the power of sustainability and inclusive growth. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as we embark on a journey into the future of innovation and sustainability in this era. In a world that is changing at an unprecedented pace, where innovation is the driving force and where the lines between technology and humanity continues to blur, Amity School of Economics has consistently been at the forefront of fostering knowledge, collaboration, and exploration. Since its inception in 2009, Amity School of Economics has evolved into a premier global forum that brings together the brightest minds from diverse backgrounds, from pioneering researchers and members of academia to visionary entrepreneurs, innovative startups, venture capitalists, and industry professionals. It has been a platform for in depth discussions, the sharing of experience, and the exchange of groundbreaking ideas. Today, as we convene for the eighth time, we do so with profound focus on new paradigm that abridges the aim to integrate and not isolate. As per the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Atmanirbhar Bharat focuses on domestic capacity building, technology development, and export to competitiveness, and help lays the groundwork for realizing the ambition of Viksit Bharat at 2047. As we work towards this ambitious objective, we are reminded that progress is assessed not in only economic terms, but also in sustainability and inclusiveness of that progress. A country's actual growth is reflected in its ability to empower all segments of society, protect its natural resources, and establish an ecosystem in which innovation coexists with environmental stewardship and social fairness. India's vision for Viksit Bharat 2047 is a roadmap to becoming a developed nation by 2047, driven by sustainability and inclusive growth. As the country progresses towards this goal, a balanced approach that integrates economic growth, environmental responsibility, and social equity is crucial. Sustainability is the key to long-term development. Investment in renewable energy, sustainable urban planning, and green technologies will reduce environmental degradation while fostering economic opportunity. A shift towards responsible consumption and efficient resource management will enhance India's global competitiveness while ensuring ecological balance. Climate resilience measures, including sustainability agriculture, water conservation, and disaster preparedness, will further secure national progress. Equally crucial is inclusive growth, ensuring that development benefits all the citizens, particularly marginalized communities. Strengthening MSMEs, expanding digital connectivity, and improving financial inclusion will bridge socio-economic disparities. Targeted investment in education, healthcare, and skill development will empower India's youth and workforce, driving innovation and productivity. Strengthening rural infrastructure, promoting gender equality, and fostering entrepreneurship will create an environment where every citizen contribute and benefit for economic growth. By integrating sustainability with inclusive growth, Viksit Bharat 2047 envisions a self-reliant, technologically advanced, and socially inclusive India. Through proactive policies, collaborative efforts, and innovation-driven strategies, the nation can establish itself as a global leader in sustainable and equitable development, ensuring prosperity for future generations. To enlighten us more on this theme, we have our esteemed panel of experts who will be sharing their valuable insights and knowledge with us today. Our panelists come from diverse knowledge and bringing with them a wealth of experience in their respective fields. We are honored to have them here with us and we look forward to hearing their thoughts and ideas on various discussions. This discussion will undoubtedly be a catalyst for transformative changes, inspiring the collective efforts towards harnessing the power of technology for sustainability, self-reliance, and development. Let us harness the collective brilliance in this room and beyond to inspire progress, driven innovation, and redefine leadership. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Pooja Mehra to kindly come forward and present a token of our appreciation in the form of Tulsi sapling to our esteemed panelist, Dr. Lipika Sharma. The sapling symbolizes growth, sustainability, and the positive impact each of our panelists have made on society. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our panelist, Dr. Lipika Sharma, a highly accomplished advocate, senior consultant at UN Women, and gender expert with over 24 years of professional experience. She is the founding director and CEO of Advaitam Foundation and currently serves as the G100 India's chair of for Sustainable Development Goals. Dr. Lipika is recognized globally for her work in gender inclusion, disaster risk reduction, and climate change, and is the only Indian expert listed on the UN Women Expert Register. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Namita Kapoor to present a token of her appreciation to Mrs. Prachi Agarwal. It is a privilege to welcome Mrs. Prachi Agarwal, a legal expert and partner at Anand and Anand, one of India's foremost intellectual property law firms, with a strong academic foundation, having earned her BS LLB from National Law University, Jodhpur. Mrs. Agarwal has carved a remarkable niche in the field of intellectual property litigation, specializing in patents, trademarks, copyrights, and designs. With a keen understanding of complex legal frameworks and commitment to innovative driven law, she continues to make significant contribution to the field. We are honored to have her with us today to share her valuable insights. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shilpi Verma to kindly come forward and present a token of appreciation to the panelists. Mrs. Sumit Singh. With 23 years of marketing experience, Mr. Sumit Singh serves as a Chief Marketing Officer at InfoEdge, India's largest consumer internet company, overseeing brands like Naukri.com, 99acres.com, Siksha.com, and Jeevansathi.com. She has led impactful campaigns, including Naukri.com iconic Hari Sindhu ad and Be Found for Jeevansathi.com. Driving brand leadership and consumer engagement, Mrs. Sumit Singh has forged 150 strategic alliances, positioning InfoEdge as dynamic industry leader. Prior to InfoEdge, she was founder executive director at TIE Delhi and executive director at the Indian Venture Capital Association. A management graduate from Pune University, she began her career in NIIT. We welcome you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Dr. Namita Kapoor to kindly come forward and present a token of appreciation to in form of Tulsi sapling to Ms. Poonam Mittal.
Ms. Poonam Mittal, an educational psychologist, holds a degree in law, an MBA from IMT, and a specialization in special education from Roehampton University, London, with nearly 30 years of experience. She has mentored young adults and counseled families on behavioral challenges, child abuse, and marital discord. as a founding principal of Bilbong High International School, Noida, and founder of Lotus Learning Foundation. She champions women empowerment and children's education. Her initiatives include skill development programs, animal welfare, and environment sustainability. A state level athlete and marathon runner, she is dedicated to societal growth through education and well being.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Roshna Arora to kindly come forward and present a token of appreciation to Kuber Bish.
Mr. Kuber Bisht is a distinguished professional with expertise in finance, sports, and social welfare. As a director of Vogue Stock, a leading stockbroking and insurance firm, he has established a strong presence in financial sector. In addition to this, his corporate success, he is a professional football player and the owner of Goal Hunters FC, actively contributing to sports development as a consultant for Noida Indoor Stadium. Beyond his professional endeavors, Mr. Bish is deeply committed to social impact through his involvement with DOST and GNSK, facilitating access to government welfare schemes. We welcome you, sir.
Now I would like to invite our conference convener, Dr. Neeru Sidana, to present token of appreciation to Professor Dr. Kavita Indrupurkar. Nonetheless, I'm honored to welcome our head of institute, Professor Dr. Kavita Indrupurkar. She has teaching experience for over 27 years in higher education institution in India and has held several academic leadership positions. Presently, she is heading the School of Economics at Amity University, Noida campus.
Thank you so much, Vani. So without any more, so let us start. Thank you so much for your kind words and so we have given a small glimpse of how our students are looking forward to becoming an entrepreneur. And this topic is very aptly chosen to understand that how government is working on the ecosystem for the entrepreneurs, firstly, and also how it is useful. We all know that they are engines of growth. So in economics department, we all propagate that entrepreneurs are the engines of growth. But how, what problems they are facing, and how to motivate them to become the entrepreneurs and also intrapreneurs. Sometimes entrepreneurs are also required, right? Like you are working in an organization, but within an organization you are trying something new, right? So all that. So how can we take this forward, and how can we motivate our students to take this up in Viksit Bharat mission? So that is the idea. So I would like to take the opening remarks on how the government is working, first of all, and what are the loopholes, and how and why students should be motivated on this. Thank you so much. So I would start with you, sir. So how the how would you motivate the students and towards the Viksit Bharat mission, where we are looking for youth to participate as entrepreneurs? So what are the challenges and what are the opportunities for them?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me here, and hello everyone. So as a youth entrepreneur and a sports person, so I would like to introduce myself. As the speaker rightly said, so I'm a professional football player and I am the director at Stock. So we have a stock broking firm and an insurance broking firm. So my life is now a mix of sports and finance and a little bit of time for social work. So I started mostly with the sports and its potential, and then I'll cover some parts of finance and how the IPO has revolutionized the motivation and has given birth to venture capitalists in India, and how all this will play the role of Viksit Bharat 2047. So, as you have seen, like I try to make it more relatable and interesting for all of you. So, as you've seen, the sports industry and the event industry has grown significantly, right? So, like earlier, there were almost no money in sports, but now after the privatization, it has revolutionized everything. Like Reliance coming into the picture for ISL, Indian Super League, and IPL, of course, and then Pro Kabaddi League and everything. Like the opportunities in sports have gone like way up. And like if I come to numbers, the IPO valuation has reached approximately $10.9 billion. So that is a lot. And like the BCCI earnings from IPL 2023 jumped to like 5,122 crores itself. So and per team, like IPL teams are earning around 307 crores on average. So they're like big numbers in sports, and it is coming up, and it is going to grow much more. The government is very much interested in growing. Like if we talk about the recent event, the biggest event in sports was Olympics, Paris Olympics. So it alone like generated 7 to 10 billion US dollars for the country. And India has already bid for the Olympics in 2030. So if that happens, it will be a huge thing for India. So if that will again contribute to the Viksit Bharat 2027.
Right. And how the two-tier cities we can make them rolling along with the metro cities where this sports is taking up so much. But what about the second tier and the third tier cities?
So yeah,
where it is
a very important point actually. Coming from a sports background, I feel that is really important because I feel the people in second tier and third tier, as a sports person, they are the ones who are more talented than us.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, because they have good, like they eat well, they sleep well, they like their labor work is more like hard work in them is more. So the education is very important. Like that is lacking. Like if you see the coaches in India are not so like they are not so educated. That's the problem of India. Like if you see China or if you see USA, the facilities, the coaches, they are so brilliant. They teach them very young, like when they're like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years old. Like they teach them, they start them very young. That's why they bring so many Olympic medals and everything. That is really important. And I have been working with government also in consulting few policies for sports for the UP government. So we are trying for the second tier and third tier like to grow.
Thank you so much, sir. So next, I would like to ask Madam Deepika ma'am that how women can be brought in for more inclusivity, and what about the women entrepreneurs? What special we have to do for them, or we are not supposed to do? I mean, women entrepreneurs are yet just another set of entrepreneurs, or we need to do something special for them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And namaskar and very happy afternoon to everyone. All eyes and ears here, no more chatting. Yes, please, thank you. All attention here. So what I'm going to talk, I'm so delighted to be sitting here. I'll start with saying I'm majority of you, those from the organizing team, even not aware, I'm alumna of Amity. So it's homecoming and lovely to be here. Alumna, how? I did my PhD from Advanced Legal Studies 5-6 years back only. And I've taught in just faculty across in law faculty for good 3 years in Amity. So it's a homecoming and a lovely experience. And thank you, ma'am, for the invite and the whole team for organizing this. And the most important thing, how many girls sitting here? So, as ma'am has already asked, I'm a gender person. I advise United Nations bodies, speak up independent consultancy, talking about gender mainstreaming and woman empowerment. And that doesn't mean when I say gender, it's not about man, woman, all binaries I'm talking about. And it's lovely and fantastic to be talking upon such a fundamental issue when we talk about Viksit Bharat 2047 is entrepreneurship or fostering entrepreneurship. So what I want to talk about is how women empowerment gender mainstreaming is a backbone if we want to ensure this dream is fulfilled. So, fostering entrepreneurship, sitting in economic school, you should not consider it just an economic drive. It's a crucial vehicle for innovation, gender inclusion, and sustainability. Definitely, yes. And I'll just, because we are sitting in March, and on March 8th, we celebrate International Women's Day. Just on this 8th March, President Murmu, a tribal woman, first citizen, proudly of this, the largest democracy and the largest population of the world. Right? So, what she stated, and lovely, wonderfully stated, and I'm sure at your age as well, you can relate to what she stated on this 8th of March was that the workforce should include 48% population of this nation, which is women, and include women in workforce without any biases and barriers. And most important thing she stated, which I could relate to because I work on grassroots, running my own NGO as well, is we should change the mindset, Indian mindset of women should prioritize families over work. That has to be challenged. And our generation, your generation is challenging it more. I can happily say that. That needs to be challenged, that women should always prioritize home and take a step back and stop their career growth. That has to be challenged. Another crucial thing President Murmu said, that let the girls of this era live their dreams without any hesitation and challenges, and support them. And I'll say it's been wonderful. And for your generation, I'm really, you are blessed because in the era you are born, we are moving towards Viksit Bharat, and I'm supposed to talk about Nari Shakti Shines. And when I see the panel, I appreciate ma'am. Sorry, there is a gender imbalance against men. Majority of women sitting over here. Proudly, that's such a wonderful mix. So when I'm going to focus on why women need to be discussed and what India is doing, I'll start quickly touching upon, if we talk about constitution, a very fundamental, the core of this country, our largest democracy. If we talk about fundamentalized directive principles, anywhere is a gender neutral. Article 14 talks about equality, 15 talks about no discrimination, 3942 talks about gender parity, equal opportunities, and maternity benefits to all. Correct? And if we talk about India's commitment when we are talking about entrepreneurship, whether we talk about G20 presidency, where Indian Prime Minister set forth the tone by stating Nari Shakti Shines. And I don't know how many of you sitting in the economic school are aware, in 2025, the mission for India is Nari-led development. What does that mean? Earlier, India's focus was women's development. Now is woman-led development. So there is a difference. Let the women of this country, 48% population, lead towards Viksit Bharat. That's a vision of Prime Minister. And I must say how that vision is envisioned on ground. It's not a slogan. Gender equality is non-negotiable. It's not about only women. It's about every person born in this nation. So it's non-negotiable, very pivotal, very fundamental, and it's not about fairness at all. It's about the necessity to be a developed nation by 2047. And how it is reflecting 2025 budget recently. First time ever 8.8% allocated to gender budget, which is the biggest in last 2 decades. And it's whole of the nation approach taken by the ministry. It's not the finance minister only say 8.8. Other ministry which are very unconventional, land ministry, mining ministries, manufacturing, agriculture, all brought on board their own financial gender commitments. So this is a big thumbs up. And now when we are talking about entrepreneurship, I must point out there's a long list what India has been doing for women entrepreneurs. One is Mudra Yojana, which entertains women, giving them easy loans without much of collateral, means less of security, paperwork, etc. There is a Anpurna Yojana which gives an easy loan for women sitting at grassroots to start entrepreneurship business in catering and tiffin services. There are another Yojana which talks about marginalized women have been extended loans on a very low, flexible interest rate. And there is a long, long list. There are 12 I have jotted down in my notes, so I can't point all focused on women.
And we have those in our curriculum also.
Absolutely. So that's wonderful, and you can relate to that. Another thing, very important thing, India is doing, which I'll hit upon, which people hesitate to talk. Most important thing, entrepreneurship is at this level. We need to talk about basic livings. That is livelihood. And when you talk about livelihood, you need to talk education at the core. And I can proudly say, in this long list of what India has been doing to empower everyone and gender mainstream, the most crucial, when we talk from the Viksit Bharat point of view and digital India, everyone must have heard this thing. So there is one Yojana which is Prime Minister Gramin Digital Self Shiksha Abhiyan. By now, 67 lakh women already been empowered. In India, everything is on mobile. You pay ATM, you MobiKwik, and you do everything in India. Unless and until this technology reaches them, nothing will work out in future of India. If you provide them loan and they are not digitally savvy, it will not work out in the long run because you have to reach out to your customer, not house. It is all digital, online, on websites we are doing buying, purchasing, correct? So that's India's commitment is not only papers, not only slogans. Likely the Prime Minister has been repeatedly saying, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. When I talk about education, one thing I would like to touch upon, which is very crucial from a girl point of view, from a woman point of view, menstrual hygiene. When I talk about education, first thing, digital education, second thing, and when your hygiene is not in place, it's difficult to think about anything else. And proudly, it is a country where sanitary napkins are tax free, total tax free. And for people at grassroots who used to struggle and face many medical issues, the female, the girls, the adolescents, because of their menstrual cycle, now they have accessible 1 rupee pad in hand. So when you talk about entrepreneurship like thing here, Viksit Bharat and all those big things, first you need to start as a gender mainstreaming, change the perspective and bring masculine insecurities as well. When you empower women, then the male counterpart, our general mindset is if you empower them, they'll be out of control. Then gender sensitization is something we need to talk and ensure that everyone is on board because it's rightly said by someone that you teach one woman and you teach the whole family, and if you teach the whole family, whole nation is uplifted. I have lot to say. I can go on for 5 hours speaking about this. I don't want to eat up others' time, so I'll
Thank you so
give
much,
it to
ma'am.
ma'am.
I can understand that working at the grassroots level is really something. And sitting here and addressing these students, they need to understand. I had one of my friends who is working in Australia. So she tells that it is very difficult for the children for me to explain them what is poverty. So similarly, it is like that to some extent. Yes, whatever you are seeing, because you are working at the grassroots level, so it is very difficult for them to know the grassroots, right? And so now I move on to Ms. Poonam, and I would like to touch upon this fact that there is some anomaly between education and skill. So highly educated, but skill is something which is missing. It happens with us also at times that we are highly educated, but we are learning some of our softwares from very young people. And as an entrepreneur, or how a budding entrepreneur or who wants to become an entrepreneur can deal with this, and what are the ways out? What do you suggest to the government and to all of us as educators?
Thank you so much, Amity, for inviting me once again. Thank you so very much. I have been coming to psychology department for many a times, but economics is for the first time. And I truly believed The boys at the back, it's not gender I'm talking about. I'm talking about a dream. See, very funny thing is there. I won't say funny, but yes, from a very early age, I started reading. And I always remembered the two things. My father was actually born and brought up in Pakistan, and grandpa has come from Iran, and grandmother from Kashmir. And then at the age of 23, my father has started selling whitening cream in Lahore market. Can you believe? So by the time he came to India in 1947 without anything and just having, I have a dream. And he started this pharmaceutical company in Ghaziabad. And then, he was one of the pioneer pharmaceutical, producer, and he lived till 95. So I used to call him encyclopedia, I used to call him oral, I used to call him whatnot. You ask anything from the world, from subject or topic or anything, Dad used to have answer for it. And somewhere, when I was growing up, I would say I was a privileged child. Mother was a doctor from Calcutta University and a historian, Egyptian history she studied in her master's, and then becoming a gynecologist and father there, and giving us all the best of the, environment. And as a girl, I would say girl now because we talk about gender. In my family, we never talked about gender discrimination or brother or a sister or anything. That I have come to know much later कि gender discrimination भी होता है exist करता है. तो मैं डैड को देख के बड़ी हुई क्योंकि आप लोगों मैं तो स्टोरी टेलर हूँ मैं आपको स्टोरी ही सुनाने वाली मेरे पास कुछ विकसित भारत और प्राइम मिनिस्टर के बारे में बात करने को नहीं है क्योंकि मैंने एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप लिव कर So at the age of 17, when I was just looking and, finding my feet on the ground, what to do next, mom wants me to become a doctor. And then I was preparing for medical, not selecting. You know how it is when you are at the age of 17 and 18. Ended up doing business administration and law. And my father question to my mother was, what she will do? Doing MBA, I'm talking about, don't believe I'm a very old person, don't go on my list. So, and she said, Are, ye do ki kya? Mom said, because she herself was studied at Calcutta University and daughter of 5 brothers, and she was I would say, rebellion, went on to study so many things. She said, why not? So at the age of 17, बच्चों मैंने अपनी मम्मा की मुस्लिम पेशेंट से मिरर वर्क के कुशन्स बनवाए और मैं फैमिली से I had a car and all but we were not allowed to use it. Please listen to that. As a girl, what we call it gender discrimination, which was not there when I was 17. I used to carry those cushions in the bus to Khadigram, right? And to get some money out of it and definitely to give it to those Muslim women, the patients of my mother, and obviously some pocket money for myself. I was always as a girl, again, as a child, was so much full of ideas, keep on suggesting that why don't you do this? See, the water is going to be filtered. Why don't you start ozone thing? Daddy, computer is the future. And I'm learning computers, I'm talking about 90s. So, Daddy, why can't we do it? So, always full of ideas. If I talk about entrepreneur, मैम ने मेरी दुखती रख छेड़ दी because मैंने इतना काम किया है बच्चों कि मुझे actually मैम से request करनी पड़ेगी कि entrepreneur बनना क्या होता है. After doing my MBA in law with family and everything, got married very young. लगा यार क्या dream थे. Question तो मुझसे पूछा गया था वहाँ पर IIT में कि will you leave your husband if he's not going to allow to work? I said of course I will do this. And then I'm there in front of me, 2 little kids looking at me, Mama food. And Mama is talking about business, but nothing could stop me. I don't want to name a company, but at that time, with my kids and all, I started direct marketing selling. I did not think anything about it कि मुझे अगर shop में भी cosmetics बेचने जाना पड़ रहा है, born into a good family, married into a good family, I didn't listen to anyone. And I earned there also. Going from, I remember my dad used to sell the whitening cream, why can't I do it? I did that. Again, I did that, and not only that, started my computer institute as a startup, and then becoming a jewelry designer. So the other day, yesterday, I was sharing with one of my friends because I don't want to talk here about it. I came in contact with beautiful people and I have designed for them. I proudly can say that. And then coming into education, working in modern, starting Billabong High International School as a founder, and then कहीं पे लगा कुछ दिया नहीं सर ये कर क्या रही हूँ does it making any sense suddenly one day I have to share this story with you I pick up one of my friend who was in her 60s and I drove my car to one of the villages in North which was supposed to be one of the dreaded village I don't want to name it without telling my family members in 2016 and I said I have to start a school. वहां पे रास्ता नहीं था जाने के लिए बहुत गंदगी थी और कुछ था वहां गई और देरी में बैठ के बोला मुझे आप स्कूल बनाने दोगे क्योंकि डैडी के वो वर्ड्स याद थे हमेशा से इकबाल के खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बनने से मुझे बता तेरी रजा क्या है came back home quickly I want to finish it off other people have to speak I started a school in the village and I'm having goosebumps so proud of it whatever you are talking about the Viksit Bharat the skill development for girls recently the product from the school which is nowhere I don't want any name in the paper and all London Business School and London, LSC, both these places, we send products to them made by our parents and our students, bookmarks, and then tea holders, and all those things was made by them. And then the school has started, again shortening a story. It's a beautiful school. All of you are most welcome to do internship there and to learn. And it is a paid, because I don't believe in unpaid things. It's a paid internship and I need to take out work. I'm not going to give you any certificate. Few of you, the students from your department have done the internship. I don't want to name them. And they know कि काम करना है तो काम करना है. And my children are so fortunate that we did a conference at World Economic Forum at Davos where all the top educationists and people they had come and spoke. And I was sitting in a corner and talking about a school. मेरा नोएडा में एक छोटा सा गांव में स्कूल है उस छोटे से स्कूल में 500 बच्चे हैं वहां पे योगा है वहां म्यूजिक है वहां डांस है वहां ताइची है वहां स्किल डेवलपमेंट है अगर आपका मन है तो आप सब कुछ कर सकते हो money should not be the only outcome it will follow you when you are going to give it back to the people those who deserve the most इतना सारा वापस मिलता है पीछे मुड़ के देखती हूँ इतना तो कुछ किया भी नहीं था एंड बच्चों ज्यादा नहीं टाइम लेना अगर क्योंकि जानना है ना और स्टोरी so you have to come to my school remember Martin Luther King's words I have a dream thank you so much and love you
So in this panel discussion, we have also found a storyteller. And thank you so much, ma'am, for your story. And we would love to know more. And I think some of you might remember that I always also keep on saying that money is the byproduct. So it will come for sure. So in the earlier of our inaugural ceremony, ma'am Prachi, there was a discussion going on where our policy makers were saying that there is something which is, like contract and agreement designing. This is also an upcoming area. So how do you take this? And what do you suggest to our young budding entrepreneurs on this?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me here. And I'm really honored to be speaking to you all about on this topic. I'll just take a step back and talk a little bit about the topic here. we are talking about Viksit Bharat. Now, Viksit Bharat actually means a highly advanced country in terms of industry, science, technology, opportunities, inclusive growth, and all of those things. And one of the things is what we're looking for it is fostering innovation. Now, when we talk about innovation, everyone has spoken about education, skills, and how opportunities need to be provided. But the basic underline is that tomorrow, in order to develop the society, develop the technology, develop in terms of digital space as well, or just providing opportunities to whether it's women or people who don't have those kind of opportunities, we also need to innovate. So when we need to innovate, there has to be some incentive for innovation, which is exactly what I do as a profession, which is intellectual property. So yes, you need to develop all those skills. You need to get all those education. I recently saw before we started the session that people have already developed their own business ideas and apps, and and I'm sure most of you have great ideas, and you are just waiting for to explore those ideas and to take the society forward. But one of the things is that there has to be some kind of an incentive to innovate. So, which is why I would always request that if you're coming up with some kind of an idea, please look into intellectual property also and try to register your, whether it's, you can file for a patent if it's scientifically related. If you've written something, you can get it copyrighted. If there's a brand, I just saw somebody had a brand I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name, but there was a brand involved with the whole writing community and all of that. I would encourage that person to register that as a trademark, because at the end of the day, yes, we can talk about an ideal world and say, okay, we all want to contribute to the society, but as you go by, let's also get practical, that people are looking to kind of some kind of incentive to actually develop technology. Why would I want to spend millions of dollars and make a drug and then not be able to get any advantage for it, right? Today, like for instance, Coca-Cola has its own process which has a trade secret, and it's charging certain amount for that, and that's why they're able to do further manufacturing. So all that commercials are also linked to that. Now coming back to commercial, that brings me to the question which I've been asked regarding contract and agreement. Absolutely. I mean, this is the first advice which I give anyone who's planning to commercialize and market and get into any kind of a, whether it's some kind of a business or a collaboration, you have to have everything in writing, in the sense, what are the terms of the agreement, what is going to be each and every person's role, and obviously you need to make sure that all your dispute resolution clauses, for example, or any kind of contingent clauses, the consideration, the amount which you're going to be involved, so that is also there. And I don't know if there is a section on drafting which is being provided in colleges, but I do feel that these basic skills, you don't have to go to law school to acquire these skills. At least, even if you can't understand the legal writing, you should know what goes in an agreement, so that tomorrow when you are, at least even when you're going and speaking to a lawyer, you should know what questions to ask. So this is also part of the education skill that we were talking about. And I'm really glad, actually, when we talk about innovation, and when we talk about inclusiveness and growth, I think this is an example of the initiative which has been taken by the university, because I've been told that this conference happens and it's been happening for many years now. So this is also like a part of inclusive growth, and I'm so glad that at this stage you are aware of these concepts and how to actually involve everyone, and have a kind of a knowledge session also, so that and we are only here to give you snippets, and you can always go back and enhance those skills, and read up on these topics that we are talking about. But at least it's enough to get your your brain moving and thinking in that direction. So I'm really glad to be part of this. Thank you.
So much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind words. And now incentives. So they come from the market. Economists know that very well. So, ma'am, what do you think about the Indian market, and what are the pitfalls, likely pitfalls? Because we see a lot of demand which is growing and everyone is talking about it, but there are several pitfalls. So I would like you to please highlight on this so that our students can, understand the market better.
Thanks. So thanks for having us here, and I'm feeling 30 years younger. So it's really nice to come back to university and campus. And I think I was telling Pratyashu on the way, he was kind enough to escort me from the gate here. So I think it's a nice question, pitfalls, but I'll try and keep it in the boundary of entrepreneurship and jobs, right? Because I think rather than the Indian economy, I'm sure there's so many budding economists here, and my God, so many doctors here, and this line and that line, that I dare not try and say anything about the economy. They'll correct me. How many budding entrepreneurs? Show of hands. None?
There are so many, ma'am.
Oh, there are two, of course, who are entrepreneurs already.
There
right?
are many.
Okay. All right. So then how many want to go and get a job? What are the rest going to do? Higher studies, okay. No hands for higher studies. Oh, okay, nice. So most of you want to study further and then get on to jobs, etc. But very few hands for entrepreneurs, very few hands for jobs. So internships? Nice. Okay. Study abroad. Who wants to do economics abroad after this? Nice, lovely, very nice. So thanks. Just wanted to know what the composition is, so that one can talk about what is more relevant. So we saw some people, we saw two very bright entrepreneurs, one who'd already started a company, one who started a wonderful platform. And I must congratulate you because, the way you described writing was wonderful because it was very inclusive. You said somebody who writes a recipe to a travel log is also a writer, which was very nice because I don't think I can ever pen down a novel. So when I was hearing you, I said that's nice to have somebody who's thinking of people who write briefly as a writer as well. So all the best to you. So what are the pitfalls? I think the biggest pitfall is really the skill gap. When you come back, when you come out of universities, and it's not about which university. I'm telling you, this is for all universities, right? We have people coming in from Harvard, Yale, the IIMs, Amity, and SRM. And so this is all over. The IITs, the NITs. Is really the skill gap, which is the expectation. So the biggest pitfall is really the expectation that the private sector or the industry has vis-a-vis what is really being taught, right? I think what is being taught is fundamentals, which is very important. But I think the biggest thing that the country requires, whether it is government aided or here we've seen ASC do this as the university, right, where faculty and students have come together, is really this partnership of industry. Are enough people from industry who are practicing economics in the market and in industry coming and actually interacting with small groups, large groups, class, not really giving a lecture, but really talking about what do I need to do? What is really missing? And I think it's wonderful, and the industry needs the same thing actually with professors because we don't spend enough time with faculty. We come out, we learn from them, and then we only go back for our alumni meets, right? To also know that, when you're teaching something, why and where is it coming from and can it be fortified? So I think one is that. The second big one is really incentives, and I think Prachi spoke about it. And I'm saying incentivizing innovation actually comes from building. I think Amity has an incubator, right? So do we have enough incubators, right? Because we spoke about intrapreneurs and budding entrepreneurs. So with incubators, not only will you get funding, which I think will, with Viksit Bharat, I think there's a lot that the government is doing through Startup India as well. And, they're kind of doing the Startup Mahakumbh in April, which is the second year. And I think they encourage students to go and talk to founders, and you have, all the unicorns, their founders, etc. there. But the pitfall is really, do we have enough people within, for example, are enough founders or entrepreneurs from the Amity incubator even talking to students at ASC, right? I think that is important because that really incentivizes innovation. Because for innovation, you don't need money, you need ideas. Poonam spoke about dreaming, right? Some of us are born with those dreams and some of us get inspired. When we look at Kuber, who's so young and he's making millions at the stock market at the same time, he's got sports, So I think it's important to listen enough and network enough. And most of at the education level, I don't think we have enough of that networking. We also go back to alumni only when we want jobs and we want placement. I think enough universities don't help place people with right internships. I think all that is very important because providing that as a partner, like Poonam just said, come for a paid internship. That was very nice. So I think a lot of that is required. So if that skill gap exists, and I think that's the biggest pitfall. And then do we have a network with enough type of people which can inspire different types of people? So that would be my 2 bits.
Right. So this is the pursuit. In that pursuit only, we are holding this conference 8th in the row, and I think this would have been 9th if there was no COVID. But after that, after COVID also, we had our hybrid national conference. Yes. So I think without taking much time, if some students have the questions, we can go for the questions.
Yes.
Yes. So questions.
We won't let you go. You want to go for lunch, you have to ask.
Yes. He has a question. Please get the panel. Please ask someone to take the mic.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Dr. Tini Sharma. I'm a researcher. I have a question for Dr. Lipika, ma'am. Ma'am, you talk about gender inclusiveness. I'm a researcher and I have been part of a research study that we did on small entrepreneurs. What interesting that I found is that the problems of the male entrepreneurs are completely different from what the problems which women are facing. So the study was based on micro and small entrepreneurs, the women entrepreneurs. The basic problem they were facing was financial literacy. Like I met some women who said that they were so hesitant in visiting a bank, talking to the manager. Like there was a woman, she wanted a loan for her business. She was doing well, but she said that whenever I visit bank, I took my husband along with me. So it's like you believe that it's less faith they have in themselves, or some communication skills, or why do they always want their male partner or some like another woman, she took her son along with her. So do you think that public policy should be more emphasized on providing financial literacy or building confidence, or how they can expand their business?
Thanks for that wonderful question. So I talk from a perspective of being a lawyer, running my own foundation and advising United Nations bodies on gender perspective. So from grassroots till the highest level where global policies are decided and treaties are signed. I'll say if we talk about Indian perspective, you're talking about just financial well-being, understanding the basics about finances. So you can't talk about finances, as I've already spoken. You have to start from a basic education. Still in India, despite many efforts for many years in India, education is not widespread. If you have to drop out one children from your family, the girl goes out first, looking after the siblings, looking after the household work. So bache is all about the perspective here. No gender difference, gender mainstreaming. So it's not about financial upskilling, financial understanding. It's about understanding we all are human, born equally, same limbs, same brain part. Only society imposes gender roles on us. Woman, even a CEO. Still, I tell you, mind you, talking from a perspective where I come from. Educated, sitting people like big shots sitting here. Woman, even a CEO, goes back home at 9, husband back home at 7. She's the one who walk into the kitchen, see what all is cooked. She is the one who will walk into the bedrooms of children asking homework हो गया, पढ़ाई कर ली, पेपर कब है? Father is not taking responsibility, not intentionally, absolutely not, but it's a mindset. So we need to give a education and financial question. I talked about Prime Minister Gramin Digital Yojana. So Gramin is about upskilling everyone about everything, not only finances. The basic understanding there are no blurring that gender differences, those gender roles. We are born as men and women. God never discriminated. Gender is imposed on us and we have to deal with it. Correct? So it's understanding very basic education, and this thing I do with my NGO. When I conduct workshop, I talk about, I am a prevention of sexual harassment trainer. When I go and talk, I talk about legal issues, filing RTI, getting your ID cards made. You're talking about bank, getting your voter ID made is an issue, right? We all of us sitting here are very privileged, born in wonderful families, had lot on our platter, talking big things, living big dreams. But we still have a huge population in India at grassroots. So it's telling
we have
them
lot of,
everything.
entrepreneurship opportunities in this area also.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we need to sensitize on everything, not only finances. Once they are empowered enough, confident, they'll be able to deal with it. Thank you for that question.
Add on, because since I'm working in a village, I'm taking a privilege to talk about it. So we called bankers to the school, and ICICI, HDFC, many banks in India, they are coming up to come and teach to both the parents. It's not only men, but not women, men, everyone, because many of us, see, nothing to do with gender, we don't know even how to fill up the form. Forget about anything else. And we have young children from very big schools in Noida of grade 11th. They are also coming and talking about finance, not only with the parents, but with the children of grade 6, 7, and 8. Talking to them about banking. So सारा का सारा काम हम गवर्नमेंट को नहीं दे सकते, हमें खुद भी, since all of you are into economics, किसी ने कुछ हाथ उठाया, किसी ने कुछ हाथ उठाया, अगर आप लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इतनी छोटी ले लो कि घर में वो जो बर्तन वाली बाई आती है या वो जो भैया आते हैं कार साफ करने, उनको पूछो आपको बैंक का काम आता है? नहीं आता। चलो मैं चलता हूँ, 1 घंटा चाहिए पूरे साल में, सब कुछ सिखा दोगे। Can you do that?
So collective responsibility is important. Yes. So and just like we are offering many of the services, we can offer this as a service, and there can be a platform. So any entrepreneur can take this up, and every week we can share 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, and this is our collective responsibility. Any other question? Yes.
Good afternoon, all. So, ma'am, we were discussing, like you were discussing.
Please stand up.
So we were discussing about incentives. So मैम मतलब हमारे एज के जो बच्चे हैं वो फ्री में मतलब ऐसे अनपेड इंटर्नशिप्स उतना करना नहीं चाहते हैं, और बेसिकली एज फ्रेशर्स हमको अनपेड ही इंटर्नशिप्स मिलते हैं. तो मैम एंड आई थिंक इंटर्नशिप्स जो हो लाइक इंटेंसिव incentives जो होते हैं, they act as motivation for us also to work and put effort in. So मैम हमारा mindset ऐसा है कि we don't want to put in effort when we are not getting paid. So मैम how can we improve that mindset? If you could give some insights on that. Thank you.
Question. Thank you for being so honest and genuine. And I have a Gen Alpha and a Gen Z at home. So I know, So there are two things, right? One, our generation was brought up where we thought we were brought up with the conditioning that knowledge isn't set, right? And luckily, we did not have internet, So there was no peer pressure. We didn't have to see somebody's wearing an Air Jordan. All of us wore Bata. It was just fine, and nobody was going abroad for holidays and getting something, etc. So it was much easier for us. So, and therefore it's easier said, when our generation speaks, we did not have 24 hours TV, etc. So distractions and peer pressure was far less. But I think what is important is two things. I think it's good to want to get a paid internship. A lot of universities and institutes that actually aid internships. For example, we go to a lot of universities across the country and abroad to get interns, and they're all paid internships. But we go in August and September, right? To get interns in May and June, right? That's how early. So for example, we finished intern hiring across the country where we have 110 interns by September 30th of our current year. You have to join in May. Now, the problem that happens is there are very few universities, departments, and institutes who actually wake up that early, because it's time where just freshers party has finished, because most of the sessions start in July, right? So the first years are, they're just getting into the group. So I think there's LinkedIn, there are portals now, and I think you guys are far smarter than we were, So I think just look out for your own. And if you go on time, I think in time you might be able to get paid internships easily. Now, what happens is, because you finish this quota, and budget, because budget is finite, what happens is then there might be somebody who sent you a great request, or there might be somebody, like you might know, a teacher or somebody else, or we might realize, yeah, we need a set of more interns, Okay, so let's go and scout out. So I think paid internships today, like I think Poonam or someone said it, I like to pay for what I have. I think industry also wants to pay for internship, because we give serious work to interns, right? We don't want them to just not work. And you feel that you do have to incentivize this generation, right? But in case you don't get one, just in case, because mostly now we wake up only in February, March or April, which is actually very late for industry, right? And that is why budgets are already consumed, right? So I think if you start early, start in September, October, November, it'll be easier for companies to give you a paid internship. Secondly, just in case you don't get one as a fresher, and sometimes it is tough, take what you get. Because when you go for an internship to a good organization, and I don't mean a big brand necessarily, you know what your internship project is going to be. It helps you in two ways. One, it gives you knowledge, and it really in today's world helps you that I don't want to do this. Many a times you get an internship and you say, yeah, I've taken a research analyst thing. I don't think I want to do research analysis. I want to do something else. So it also helps that way. But I think if you start early, make good profiles, add recommendations from your profs if you can, because you guys are economic students. I think industry is dying for economic students, because you guys can do research and analysis, and the world future is all data, right? So data is not only AI, right? Data is data visualization, right? Data is data statistics, and that's actually, hopefully some of you will kind of end up doing that. So start early and take something which is good, even if it doesn't pay. Tell your mom and dad 2 months you have to give me some pocket money because I've got something good,
I'll just add to that. I think you should change your attitude completely. At this stage, you cannot focus. I know I said that, you have to incentivize innovation. That's a different concept. And don't misunderstand what I was saying. At this stage, your money should not be an incentive for you to do an internship or to even work and study. Right now, all you have to do is acquire the education, exposure, skill, and experience. When I spoke about incentivize innovation, it means when you're doing something for the society and when you're doing something for other people other than yourself, then there's a lot more, incentive which is required. But at this stage, yes, money is important. I'm not going to give you this very, idealistic picture that money is not important. But at this stage, please do not choose your internships on the basis of how much stipend you're getting. Please choose your internships on the basis of the opportunity and the kind of skill that you want to acquire. Right?
right? So money should not be the deciding factor as far as your internships are concerned. Anybody else? Yes. So we'll take two more questions.
So, ma'am, my question might come off as a bit insensitive, which is not the intention here. But if you see job industries like oil and gas, construction, mining, and infrastructure, which are more physically hard and laborious, they have a much higher population of the male working force, more than like 80%. And when you come to things like education, you have a lot of quotas and reservations for female students, even in government jobs, even in private sectors. Like if you go for an MBA head, you'll get a female diversity or gender diversity quota by advantage during admissions or even by job selections. So I don't under. It sounds insensitive, but I don't understand. We keep talking about empowerment. I feel women are more empowered than men in today's time. So it is not even about equality. I think it has reached a point wherein it is less about merit and more about being diverse in some form or the other. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I think for India to flourish in the same way as China, we need to focus on merit instead of diversity.
Yes. So Sagar, thank you for this question. This is very important. Sitting in this, auditorium, I told you earlier also that it is very difficult for them to understand this. It is very difficult for them, even for women sitting here. It is very difficult for us to understand that what are the problems that they are facing. Right? There are two worlds. We can say that, right? And I would request Sagar, Madam will answer your question, but I would request all the students. Therefore, we have in our university. In our university, we have what is known as community outreach. This is a very important program. Similarly, we have human values. Everyone has to go for 10 days or for 4 weeks for community outreach program. Because there are so many innovations and opportunities which are waiting for us, right? So all these students can do wonders when they go there. So I would like we keep on telling them. So I want all of you to answer this, and with this we will close. Yes, sir. Kuberji, first you.
It's a really good question.
So Sagar can sit because all of us are going to answer.
Yeah.
It's a very bright
As
child.
the only male panel.
I am given the opportunity first.
Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right actually, but as a in this generation, like in earlier it didn't used to be like that, but in this generation, women are getting empowered. But I think it's also very important because if you still see the numbers, I think 48% of the women's so I think let it come to 50-50 first. And yeah, so anyway, the women empowerment is important, but also the mental health of men. At this level, like if you see the suicides, you see like they have gone much higher, and the men are the ones who are suffering more. So it is really important for universities and schools and for the education part. Like it is really important for the mental health sessions, also conferences and everything for all this. So, like, if you see, men are like more privileged, I would say, but yeah, that's all I have.
So I would like to add here with what you are saying is that this world was full of masculine livelihood earlier, right? And as far as our history goes, women were never unempowered. We were always empowered earlier, but now we have to go back and empower them again. And there are certain laws which are not gender neutral. So in times to come, we want them to become gender neutral. So, but recently there have been so many ideas on this, but there are still there is still a long way to go. And before that, there will be many people like him who will be questioning on the idea of women empowerment, right? And this masculinity is something which has made them come into the forefront at the driver's seat and drive the economy of the country. But now it has been taken a more balanced approach, like you have said. So thank you so much for your comments. Yeah.
Women are like more emotionally like
Stable,
yeah,
strong, and therefore they are less going to suicide. So similarly, sports were also masculine earlier, but now we are having cricket, women cricket also. Right.
Sports is getting huge in women's.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Poonam, ma'am.
Hello. That is why when I started the conversation, I said, "मुझे gender equality पता ही नहीं क्या है." Because there was no gender talking about. See, children, we are in a closed room. If I can be very open with you, there are many political, legal, so many things are involved in taking these kind of decisions. Because if I tell you the truth, when this pink bus and pink auto started, I was not for it. Free for what? Parents have spent equal amount of money in the education of either a girl or a boy. It was not like that our education was free and boys have been paid or we have been paid. See, when you talk about not so privileged to children, I definitely say that there are in my school when 3-4 children are there, privilege has been given to a boy. And my school is again a girl pro. My mother wanted it, and scholarships and all we have started for the girls. But I truly believe in equality. One thing what you have to understand, whatever percentage of reservations you are going to make at the workplace, it is never ever going to be filled. Whatever said and done, men in India are still living in 16th century. So what is spinning you? If you are actually very, I would say, talented, intelligent, hardworking, then nothing can stop you. These percentages, the reservation is just a number. If can you believe it? I have men teachers in the school, yoga teacher, tai chi teacher, maths teacher, civics teacher of the school, who is the principal, has studied in Soka University, Japan. He's a man. So because he is more talented, so it has nothing to do with the gender, please. ये आपके मन में है कि वो रिजर्वेशन किया हुआ है. अगर आप इंटरव्यू देने जाओगे ना, people like Sumit or Kuber or maybe UPT, they are going to select the best candidate. वो ये नहीं देखेंगे it's a girl or a boy. This is just a mindset. Please clear it out. I am working at the ground. मैं बिल्कुल जमीन पे काम करती हूँ. तो मैं आपको ये प्योरली कह सकती हूँ, I just believe in the talent of a student or a candidate, not on the gender. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that lovely question, Sagar. And I'll pick up from where Poonam ji stopped. Ultimately, life is very fair. You will be given opportunity. If you are meritorious, if you are not, you will not. I'll talk 2-3 things. आपने बात करी कि reservation मिलती है and women are more empowered. The answer is big no, बच्चे. Reason being, still a huge number of Indians are backward in totality, right? So let's understand it from the perspective of not equality, equity as well. It's about fairness. You can't compare mangoes and bananas, right? So in law, if I generalize it, we say differentiated equality. For different group of people, you need to uplift seeing their challenges and opportunities. And mind you, when I say gender in journal, everyone, 95% of us have this perspective. Gender means talking about woman empowerment. Gender is man, woman. Absolutely not. We are in a world where in India, in a country like India, we have a third gender recognized by law. When I was growing up, in forms there used to be male, female. Now it's a third gender reflecting. Law has recognized there are very many binaries. So we are not talking about man, woman. In future, you may have to give it away for same sex marriages, same gender affiliations, transgenders. You have to give space to them. It's about equity and reservation. Frankly, for me also is a big no-no, but you have to talk about equity, that is fairness. not trying. Female cannot be equated with male. Biologically, we are different. We have different strengths. But it's about challenges and opportunities.
And reservation is only for time being. It will go with time.
Ultimately, merit prevails.
It has to go. It will go with time. Yes. And we do not want any special lines.
Correct. Absolutely. I think everybody said this, and we're all women on the panel, and there's so many young girls here. I think it's always merit. But having said that, as you pointed out, there are some government jobs, etc., where there are reservations, and you have to have that. If you look at the country, you first had them for backward classes. You started with the scheduled tribes and the scheduled castes. You then had to have them for the economically backward classes, etc. And the reason you had to do it is exactly what Dr. Lipika said. For differential classes where you feel that there have been challenges and for generations equal opportunities have not been given, you need to do that to just get them up. When we were in college, there was Mandal Commission. We had I don't know. We had strikes and all this. कि भाई यार हमारे लिए तो सीटें ही नहीं बचेंगी. हमें तो किसी इंस्टीट्यूट में एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगी. Because that was the first time where 63 or 64% seats were reserved, and for general category there were hardly any seats. But in hindsight, you feel that there are certain differential groups that you have to do this for, because women are empowered and are getting empowered, and it's not just about rural India. There are enough educated women belonging to rich families who are not allowed to take financial decisions, who are not allowed to be financially independent by their parents even today, by their husbands even today. So it's not about rural. It's not about being privileged or underprivileged. It's about really trying to do something for a class that has been oppressed for generations to come. It's in schools, it's in institutes, it's definitely in the government. Today we are celebrating a lady president. We started with that. She's not only a lady president, but also comes from a backward class, right? I think it's important because only then you start listening to them. You give them a place on the table. She has a place on the table. She's very capable, but she needs opportunities to show that capability to the world. So I think it's here to stay for some more years, and I hope it is.
Yes.
I hope it is. But having said that, I agree with everybody that whoever takes in somebody, whether it is at a school level, government job level, private level, wherever the reservation is, I think the selection is always on merit. It's never just because you belong to a gender, whether it is male or female. But I think being a woman, I think it's very nice that there is reservation in government from rural to upward areas. And that's why we see more female bureaucrats today. You want policy changers who actually have a balanced attitude. So that's my take on it.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, last comments from you.
I think everyone has spoken about all aspects, but of course, I don't agree that there is enough empowerment. You're probably looking at the urban women, and you're seeing that there is so much empowerment happening. But if you go to really the remote parts of the country, and I've had an opportunity to travel because of my husband is from Bihar, so I've traveled to like the villages of Bihar and all of that, and I've seen that the condition is really bad. Like the women out there, like someone spoke about, they don't know how to go to a bank without a male counterpart or a male companion, and that is the reality for most of India today. And I can say that, of course, if tomorrow they offer a reservation to me, or if they would have offered it to me in the past, I would have refused. I don't need that reservation. But I'm probably only a very small percentage of women. Like most of us are coming from very privileged background where we've got that education. We've also had sufficient financial backing that we can sponsor that education. But most people are not coming there, and the first people who get affected in those societies are women, because in those families, even now, if at all they have to educate someone, it's the man, because they're like, oh, women is going to isko na kitchen ka khana wana banana sikhao, because she has to eventually go. So that mindset is still there. So yeah, we see around us successful women and empowered women, and we feel like that's the state of most of India. But That's
That is
barely
right.
a fraction.
And he's lucky to have more empowered women around him to make him feel like that. So, and we also feel proud about it. So, thank you so much, all the panelists, for joining us today. And please have lunch before leaving. Thank you so much.
To honor their valuable contributions, I would now like to invite Dr. Neeru Sidana to kindly present the token of her appreciation in the form of mementos and gifts. To Dr. Lipika Sharma for her remarkable contribution in gender inclusion, sustainability, empowering entrepreneurs from different genders. To Mrs. Prachi Agarwal for her invaluable insights into intellectual property, trademarks, and its role in fostering innovation, exposure, and education. To Mrs. Sumit Singh for her remarkable thoughts on networking that opens new opportunities for women and enhances their skill sets. To Mrs. Poonam Mittal for her dedication to education, social empowerment, shaping the lives of many, and harnessing the art of storytelling. To Mr. Kubir Bisht for his outstanding work in finance, sports, and social welfare, creating a meaningful change in multiple domains. A special note of appreciation goes to Professor Dr. Kavita Indrapurkar, our esteemed moderator, whose thoughtful guidance and engaging approach ensures a seamless flow of discussion, managing this session both insightful and impactful. Now I would like to invite Dr. Neeru Sidana to deliver a vote of thanks and share her reflection on today's discussion.
Thank you so much, Vani. Viksit Bharat is a dream that can only be achieved through our collective efforts. Every voice, every idea, every action matters. Today's discussion brought that to life. With diverse and powerful insight from our panelists, we were reminded just how inspiring and impactful it is when we all come together. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our honorable panelists for their captivating addresses that set the tone for this panel discussion. Your words sparked fresh ideas, reminded us why building up Viksit Bharat is a goal worth working for every day. I sincerely thank the member of organizing committee who worked hard to make this panel discussion a reality. I would like to thank or express my heartfelt appreciation to the venue staff, IT department of Amity University, technical team, and everyone else who worked behind the scene to ensure this panel discussion happens smoothly. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all of you, the participants, attendees, for your engagement. Your active involvement and passion for learning and collaboration have made this session a truly memorable and meaningful experience. Thank you all, one and all present here. Thank you so much.